Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast.
Coming out of SideQuest Studios, this is the Simpsons Index, episode 113. I'm your host, Elliot Jay O'Neill, and joining me this week in SideQuest Studios is Danny Rosewell.
I'm Danny Rosewell.
And here as always, except when he's not, BT Calloway.
No, hi.
And yes, thank you for joining us for the Simpsons Index. This is a podcast where we watch and review 3 episodes of The Simpsons at a time, but there's a twist. Each episode must come from a different decade. How are we doing, fellas?
Thank you for asking.
What Danny means is we were doing quite well until we viewed the episode we were about to review. How did that change our mood? We'll find out.
You might hear some festering anger right now, and it's because we just watched an episode from the HD era. This was season 21, episode 16, The Greatest Story Ever Dolled.
Did they?
First released in March of 2010, it was directed by Michael Polcino, written by Kevin Curran, R.I.P. In this episode, wanting to save Homer's soul, Ned takes the Simpson family on his Christian group's trip to the Holy Land. Guys, what you think?
What was the writer's name again?
Kevin Curran.
The dead one.
And he's dead.
Kevin Curran.
I don't know how you'll get revenge on the dead.
I'm not
Beach.
looking to get revenge. I'm looking at it as a warning flag for future episodes because this went straight to the shit list.
Oh yeah, it's like don't do what Kevin don't does.
It didn't even there's some birds, maybe.
I cracked a moderate smile once
Wow.
this entire time.
When was that?
Right at the very, I'll start with my positive note. Right at the very end, where everyone has Messiah syndrome.
Oh yeah.
And they're on the plane, and there's a bunch of people in.
Everyone's wearing robes.
Yeah, that I got a little crack of a smile from. Everything else is garbage fire.
Well, yeah, some Kevin Curran episodes that we've done in the past. My Big Fat Geek Wedding, that was the fall of Seymour and Edna.
That was yeah.
Don't Fear the Roofer with our old mate Ray Romano.
Sucked.
Oh yeah, it sucked. But I enjoyed it in its shitness in a way that I didn't enjoy this.
He's actually done some late era episodes that I like How Much Is That Birdie in the Window? We haven't done that one yet. And Homer Is Where the Art Isn't was a weird episode. That one was like the half Banachek, half Simpsons one.
Oh,
Yeah, weird one.
I didn't see it, but I heard you guys just lose your plot.
So yeah, for better or worse, you did like that Messiah thing at the end?
Yeah, can I go about the rest of it then?
What else from this episode stands out to you, BT Calloway?
What stands out for people worse is every single, I'm going to put inverted commas here, every single joke takes 6 fucking bites.
Yeah.
And it has 1.5 max. And so it's literally just chewing air by the end of it. There's a bit where they bump into the tour guide, and this is the first point where I notice it, where, Marge goes, oh, but I saw in the brochure, and he goes, brochure. Oh, she read the brochure. And it just goes on, and you're like, shut the fuck up.
For real, man.
It's not even a joke to begin with, and they just keep going and going with it, and it happens over and over again, and oh my God.
How long was he fucking shouting in possibly Hebrew, possibly gibberish pretend Hebrew?
And it goes on for just ages for no reason. There's no punchline. It's just someone offends him. He talks in, we'll assume Hebrew for a minute.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there and there's no response from anyone. No one's arguing back. You're not getting the story from their emotions or faces or actions or anything. It's just padding for padding's sake. It's padding the padding. It's getting packaging peanuts and wrapping them up in cellophane and bubble wrap and then
But yeah, in that rant where he was ranting against the guy from sneaking in on the tour group, there's a funny observation to be made, but it wasn't a story point, it wasn't a joke, because it was just more fucking ranting. And yeah, the guest star of this episode, Sacha Baron Cohen.
Your best friend of mine, Sacha Baron Cohen. Mm-hmm. Sacha Baron, I've never offended anyone, Cohen.
Who I'm assuming they just said, you know what, go for it. We've only written 5 minutes of this episode. We were relying on you to just improv.
Yeah, he just went in and his script didn't have any dialogue for his character, and they're just just fill in the blanks yourself.
There is sort of a cute little irony in Sacha Baron's disgustingly outdated racist stereotype. Spends his whole time being offended about everything.
Yeah, and there's a joke to be mined from that, I think.
Yeah.
But it's just structure it. Don't just let him off leash with no direction.
It's disgusting. It was really unpleasant to watch. I know I am the closest thing to a Jewish person we have in the room. Not particularly Jewish person.
Well, how about you, Danny? What is a moment from this episode that stands out to you, for better or worse?
I think the thing that really stood out to me was Sacha Baron Cohen's disgusting fucking accent. I don't know if he was going for a Hebrew Yiddishy sort of accent, but it was more Frenchy sort of. Just like you've got to goggle some sort of vaguely ethnic-y accent. Yeah. It's like if you'd never heard... I'm pretty sure he knows what Jewish people sound like.
Yeah.
Presumably.
I'm going to say, like, he does a lot of accent work, and he usually does it pretty well. I'm going to say they didn't let him redo takes or something. So he might have been, oh, sorry, I lost the accent then. Like, no, we got it. Like, no. I don't know. I don't know how much credit to give him and how much to level the producers.
I don't know how much credit to give him. Maybe the joke is that his accent's bad. You know, maybe the joke is, okay, now try and do an accent, but do one that doesn't sound anything like a Hebrew accent.
Yeah.
Oh, it really, really got to me. And he was so offensive and racist and out of date and... Oh, man. And he was always like, shut your face as well.
Yeah.
His little carry-on throwback bit was... Cha!
It always kind of carries with it but it's okay because I am Jewish. But it's like, it's the lamest excuse to make a poor joke.
Fuck off.
Like,
black people can still do blackface. Jewish people can still do Jew-face. Oh, I am fucking going to hell, aren't I?
Not before this episode, you're not. But yeah, I'm going to say what stands out to me is the fucking whiteboard writing in this episode, man. So for unfamiliar listeners, like we've got this concept where, especially when Simpsons do a go-to somewhere episode, they just get a whiteboard, they write down all the things that they know from it, and then they just repeat them, like the fucking Wailing Wall and
Krav Maga. Like the second Bart turns to this girl and is like, I'm just going to stand up to you. It's like, she's going to know Krav Maga, isn't she?
Yeah.
Because that's on the fucking whiteboard. And then in the end, Lisa knows it for some fucking reason.
You know how there's like Wikipedia for kids where it like dials everything down?
Yeah. But it just feels so bullet pointy, you know, like they've got to get a fiddler on the roof.
Got to get a fiddler on the roof.
Have you ever had a latke? Yeah, they're okay. They're good with applesauce. Oh, get that in the fucking episode.
And they even have a moment where they stop and go, Krusty, what are you doing in Israel?
I'm the only Jewish character you guys recognize.
And Krusty doing his parking tickets at the Wailing Wall.
And again, it's that 6 bites of the same bit where he's like, oh, Lord, I'd like you to take care of these parking tickets. That's the joke. And then like he reads out the parking ticket infraction numbers. And you're like, that's not even a joke. That's just numbers.
Airtime.
Like, it's not entertaining to hear someone read out QAX hashtag. Oh, wait, no, I'm doing it. Oh, fuck. Play count. How many times before tonight have you seen this episode?
Merciful God, only once.
Yeah, look, I've only seen this once. Like, I've said before that I used to watch HD like seasons 20 to about 22 on repeat. This one, I deleted the fucking file straight after watching this one. The perfectly legally obtained file.
And yet here it is.
And here we are.
Brightening our lives.
It's okay, man. Now it's behind us. Well, we've still got about another 20 minutes of podcasting to do. So
yeah, that's right. I have about another 20 minutes worth of complaining to do.
Vitriol to spew. Black bile to vent.
Well, yeah.
Like a turd in the wind.
There are certain kinds of wonderful hatred which aren't like dark burning fuel, but let you burn clean and bright and energy efficient. And this is one of those. I hate it so much, it's actually good for the environment.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. It's a rare kind of hatred, but it's wonderful when it happens.
BT, his hatred is carbon neutral. So let's talk about the wackiness. Was this a particularly wacky episode?
Yes, every single aspect. Like, it starts off with Ned's having Bible study, but it's interrupted by Captain Wacky running down a slip and slide nude.
It was really the classic, like, overpacing of Homer's background antics.
Yeah.
Whenever Homer's, like, a background character and his antics are always just, like, a little bit fast-forward-y, you know? It's like they need to ramp it up enough that he stands out from the shadows.
But even then, it's, like, dumb because, okay, he's on the slip and slide with his kids. I mean, it's not like he's naked in Maggie's kiddie pool drinking beer and being a slob.
Yeah, he's playing with his children.
The family. What the fuck is wrong with that? Oh, how dare you play fun with your children on this day we're trying to study about Jesus. Like, that's the fucking point of Sundays and family and all that bullshit.
Close your curtains, guys.
Yeah.
Forgive thy neighbor. Forgive thy fucking neighbor.
And it was forgetful as well, because Ned, like, breaks the emergency, like, genital covering, and then in the next scene, Homer's miraculously got underpants.
His undies are back on already. I guess his board shorts came off, but not his undies.
Which he's wearing both for some reason.
Do people wear undies under board shorts?
I do. I like my boys to be protected.
Oh, man. Well, my enormous floppy schlong would just, like, trail down the ocean unless I, like, tape that up.
If it wasn't for these stupid, nudity laws, I wouldn't have either.
Well, that's right, man. You don't want people thinking that you're a man. International audience is a type of jellyfish with really long tendrils that hang out of their boxer shorts. Oh, you can cut that.
Thanks. I love it when my guests give me editing advice.
And we're back.
And Star Wipe. And
Yeah, look, I actually think this episode could have been wackier, but then, like, the wacky moments that they chose to go with, like the whole Homer wandering the desert thing, it just, again, felt like the whiteboard writing. Yeah, gotta get a Lawrence of Arabia episode mentioned in there. Homer's fucking extended, I'm thirsty.
Hey, I love that song. I mean, it doesn't seem likely that he'd remember the Lawrence of Arabia theme, but it was nice that they threw back to it, although I felt like the whole bit was just to cram the word horny in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just backs up with that bit of, he runs out to the ocean, he's like, oh, and starts drinking it, but it's the Dead Sea, and we know it's full of salt. It's like, oh, so salty. What if I had some salt? Like, again, that's not even a joke.
No.
It's just, oh, that's the wrong thing to do, but why would you even consider it the right thing? You compare that to something like way back when we were looking at Homer at bat, when he's like, the storm started up, so I went to the tallest tree I could find, because, I mean, it almost sounds like logic, and then you're like, hey, wait a second, that's the opposite.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
And also, the Dead Sea's a fucking tourist trap.
Yeah.
Like, there would be people.
Yeah. Also, he falls over right next to the sign. Clearly, the sign is going to be at a part where tourists come in. He's not going to be in. Which sort of does go to explain how seconds later Marge happens. Specifically, his wife turns up in the exact right place.
Exactly. Homer is lost, and with absolutely no indicator of where he is, they find him immediately.
Yeah. And it's them that find him. It's not any other of the tourists.
It's not a search party. It's them and the one guy helping her look.
Which, I guess it did lead to the part of the episode that I like, and
there's a part of this episode that you like.
Like is a very strong word.
Yeah. You're getting my dander up. I'm sorry. Carry on.
No, look.
Careful of his dander.
I think there is something like with Homer and the Messiah syndrome and then everyone fucking getting it. I don't really like how they handled it.
No, I like the idea, and that's the only bit in this entire thing that I like, which is 6 years into the program.
But that's the other thing. Like, no other plot point felt like it was leading up to this. Like, Ned getting banned from the tomb should have had a lot more weight.
Well, Ned assuming Homer was going to have a spiritual experience is already stupid as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, we got very weird Ned and Homers in this episode as well.
Yeah, there's a bit where Homer's like, but I thought we were going to be neighbors in heaven. You hate him!
Yeah.
Why would you want that?
I actually quite like the multi-Jesus reveal where she pulls off her track pants and she's got the robe underneath. The dangly arm flaps felt like a real non-sequitur there. Like, great animation.
Agnes is old. What do old people have? Flappy arms.
Flaps. That's really like, shot one on the brainstorm thing again. Yeah. That didn't feel like a punchline related to the Jesus. Although I did like when it cut over to Hibbert and then he's like, oh no, it seems like another case of Jesuses. What this needs is Jesus.
Yeah, and he's got the robe as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a bad reveal. And Homer did have a nice message, chicken and peas. I think that's something we can all get behind.
Mm-hmm. That would have been way funny if they did like a chicken and peas bit.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were leaning towards, but didn't quite.
Yeah, but they didn't. They didn't.
The two factions fighting over whether there should be peace on Earth or peas on Earth.
There already are peas on Earth.
You hellion.
They didn't really have a moment. Like, they had this bit where Flanders was like, wow, I guess my message got through to him after all.
Yeah, which is dumb because you didn't fucking do anything, Flanders.
And then Homer was basically saying, Christianity is wrong, Muslims are wrong, the Jews are wrong. What's my Homer accent doing at the moment?
I don't know.
It's really got its like suspenders on. I may not be some big city lawyer, but
it's way more consistent than old SBC over there. What about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel the bumps?
No. Again, this is another one that sucked blood out of me.
If you don't feel the bumps for 21 minutes, please consult your doctor.
Yeah. If you aren't watching The Simpsons, you can't feel the bumps, you may be dead.
Yeah. It was just so disappointing. Yeah, I can sort of buy Homer and Ned's bending of characters a little bit, but nothing they did felt like it carried any weight. It was just a gag factory, and like you said, they weren't good gags. They were just drawn out gags.
Yeah, I think there is like an idea of a heart moment here of spirituality and blah, 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 and something like that. But it's just the way we get there is so tacked on and pointless. Like, Ned's just like, we're going to the Holy Land, Homer. Maybe you want to come. You'll have a spiritual experience. Like, he doesn't want that. And then Marge's like, oh yeah, we'll go. We'll pay for everything. It's like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No one wants to do this. You're just like, yeah, sure. Right? Nope.
Oh, fucking win. And we'll pay. Blow. Yeah. And there's no pork there.
Any kind of semblance of heart or plot structure or anything is just railroaded and destroyed by these jokes that aren't jokes that just repeat over and over and over until it's like you just can't feel anything. Even if you're trying, you're like, oh, but skateboarding on the Wailing Wall, what a rebel.
And yeah, there was a nice bit of heart moment with Homer and Ned at the end on the plane where it's like, can I buy you an overpriced $12 turkey sandwich? I'd like that.
Yeah, that was
And then they went
sweet.
into a fucking Sky Mall riff, which was shit.
That was shit.
Man, you are so dead inside right now.
I'm really like burnt out, man.
Like I said, it's
rough.
the really bad episodes suck blood from you. They take your heartbeats.
So, I think I know the answer, but ultimately, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Yes, this is one of the best I've never.
He got me there. He got me. Yeah, look, Homer and Ned's characters just feel off. Like, I reckon Ned feels way more annoyed than he usually is.
Yeah, I mean, justifiably so, but at the same time, why is he so stupid as to think this is what Homer wants?
Yeah.
I mean, and if they were there for another reason, then maybe that could have worked out of, we came here and I thought you'd at least try.
Yeah.
But because Homer didn't want to go to begin with, so if it had been Ned has a crisis of faith and decides to go to Israel to try and revamp that, and Homer has to go because... I don't know, he's being Ned's blood bag like in Mad Max. I can't think of anything right now. I'm too angry. But there's a reason, any reason. If Marge is like goads him into it because it's like, he really needs a friend right now. Something. Just some other reason to be there because there's no, other than Ned, no one else really gives a shit.
No,
well,
you keep your cool, Nedley. Those script writers did their best. That felt good.
I will say as well, like Reverend Lovejoy weirdly gave a shit in this episode.
Yeah.
Like he was guiding Ned and go, "Oh, now Ned, you shouldn't be so rababa." So everyone's sort of doing like a weird fucking adjacent version of their characters, and it doesn't feel right. And I don't think Sacha Baron Cohen fit in this either. Like,
no, I don't know what went wrong there. Why? Like, it feels like he wasn't directed or there was no script for him. I think he can do things. I've laughed at him before. I haven't watched any of his recent stuff, but
it felt like there was no point to his character.
Yeah, it was just ramble for the next 5 minutes, and we'll cut some of that.
Yeah.
Why was his character there? He's a tour guide. He shows them around. But the tour guide showing them around doesn't contribute anything to the plot. They leave the tour guide behind pretty quickly. They move on. And he introduces a girl, which isn't really said to be his daughter. She's
just kind of following him around.
Yeah.
Apparently his niece, and that was the other guest star of this episode, Yael Naim, a singer-songwriter from the States. And she first rose to prominence because one of her songs appeared on an Apple ad. And yeah, ever since then, she's had pretty good success. I mean, she didn't have that much to do besides yelling Krav Maga, but she did an okay-ish job.
Yeah, again, didn't have any material to work with, but yeah.
Yeah.
Why did she chase after Bart? Bart skateboarded across the thing. Was she just like offended culturally?
I guess.
She chased after him and beat him up.
The tour guide like sicked her onto him.
Yeah, and then, she knees him in the balls 8 times, and it's like,
Krav
why?
Maga, Krav Maga, Krav Maga. Yeah, that whole extended fight sequence. God, they just really fucking...
Like I said, just bites and bites and bites, and it's like, there's nothing left. Stop biting.
But yeah, they like stretched it out like it was like a bite-sized Snickers or something. It's just the caramel is so thin.
Speaking of biting...
Yeah.
Intro cutscene where like Homer bites Bart on the neck and Bart's like biting at Homer's neck and they're like panting in a weird way while people are pulling on their collars. Really turned me on.
So it wasn't all bad.
Silver. So, yes or no, would you watch this one again?
No.
Nah, man.
No. BT, what would you change?
God, everything. I'd give it a plot. I'd give it some heart. I'd give it some jokes. This is a complete teardown. There was maybe a salvageable concept at the very core of it, but...
What's the salvageable concept? Which part are you going to salvage?
Ned in the Holy Land. Not any of the Simpsons. Like, they can be there, but the purpose, I think, would be Ned maybe has a crisis of faith and wants to go. There is maybe something to get from that, but it's so parallel and distant to this idea of what we actually got. There's nothing in this episode I think I would keep. Maybe just slightly some of the concept. But no, from what we have, everything is a teardown, rebuild the entire thing. I very rarely say that.
Yeah.
I'm usually you can salvage something, but just everything is so fucking awful.
How about you, Danny?
I really want to see Ned and Homer as the buddy comedy thing. They tend to work really well when they're on their buddy comedy road trip together.
Totally.
I don't know why there were half a dozen other Simpsons characters that were just like background there. Why was Hibbert and everyone there?
Yeah,
I mean, I know they were there as the Bible camp theoretically,
Yeah.
but why the fuck were they there in the story, you know?
Yeah.
Who's the guy with the gun, which says if you have a gun, you have to shoot the gun?
Oh, not
Chekhov.
Yeah.
Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
The fuck is the point of having any of them there?
Yeah, they're all set up as part of this Bible group that then dissolves, but characters are still there. Okay, you know what? Have Bart get good at karate. He gets into like an international tournament, and they go to Israel for like the finals, and his opponent does Krav Maga. There you go.
Yes,
That's a much better reason to have the Simpsons in
Lovely
Israel,
karate.
and that took me 20 minutes.
That took you 20 seconds. That was great. That was
I'm counting this entire,
fair enough.
recording session.
You know when he goes off into the desert on, oh God, fuck, he calls it a sand horse, just like a sand car. Oh, a sand horse, car of the desert. Is it a sand horse or is it a sand car, you piece of shit? Anyway, him going off into the desert, I reckon that'd be a really good chance for him and Ned to do like off into the rally part of crossover into Fear and Loathing.
I actually love that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they both start hallucinating a little bit.
They both start
Shit's
hallucinating a
getting
little
weird.
bit. Lizards and shit.
This is Bat Country, yeah.
Yeah. And that sort of ties into like the religious hallucinations and things.
And a lot more fun.
A lot more fun.
Yeah. I like it.
And then somehow we get back to Sacha Baron Cohen with like massive fucking knife, just freaking the fuck out. And, okay, I'm losing it. But I feel there's more in that if we delved into that deeper.
Yep.
I'm going to leave it there for now.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's not like the Ricky Gervais episode where I'm fully repulsed by Sacha Baron Cohen. Like, This Is America, I felt like missed the mark. Like, I think there's still something to be had in his old work. And I think the problem here is that, he wasn't on a leash.
This Is America by Donald Glover.
Oh, fuck, that's bad of me.
What's his show called again? Who is America?
Yeah, What Is America or some shit.
It's very close together, to be fair. So
yeah, thank you for calling me out on that. I would have.
Who is America? I think it is.
Yeah. Who is America? You're right.
Hey, points.
He was in Les Miserables.
He sure was. He was
He's the wacky
French
role.
guy.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, look.
The French guy.
Innkeeper.
Was he the innkeeper? I thought he was the
master
sheriff.
of the house.
Look, I think there is something for him to do, but I think, this fucking improv in the studio stuff, clearly what it was, didn't work. And it gave this already improv-y feeling episode just such a loose fucking thread. Like, we got to the end and I'm like, wow, that was 20 minutes. Felt like fucking 2 hours. you know?
Yeah.
And look, I gotta say, I do like the ending, like Homer going through Jerusalem syndrome and being the Messiah, and I think there is something funny about the, I'm Spartacus sort of moment.
Yeah, but they bring that in with 4 minutes left?
I know, it should have been the halfway point.
That should have been a big part. They should have done the whole, like, 3 Jesus in a mental asylum thing.
One's English, one's Irish, one's Australian.
I love it. It's a great setup. But it's a famous, like, psychology thing where they chucked a bunch of people who were convinced they were Jesus into one mental asylum, had them like meet each other, and then they all walked out saying, no, the other two are just crazy and faking it.
Yeah.
It's clever. Elliot said, you know what? I didn't mind Sacha Baron Cohen. I really felt there was a place for Sacha Baron Cohen in our lives and all of our lives and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what? I was really offended and upset by him. I didn't feel like there was a point to his character. And I found there was definitely no point for him to have such an offensive accent and be a caricature of a country that they were going to, and theoretically with a sense of respect and trying to find religion and spirituality and And then I was like, wait a second. What if we get to the end and it turns out that he's not Israeli? He's faking it. And like his shit accent is so bad that no one's brave enough to call him out on it because everyone thinks that he's Jewish. And in Community where they're like, well, it's not racist to ask a Chinese man why he can speak Mexican.
Yeah.
Spanish.
Get to the very end and find out that wasn't the tour guide. That's Sacha Baron Cohen pretending to be a tour guide for his new show.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, he's doing this filming for Jacob, the tour guide, at that very moment.
Exactly.
Totally.
Man, I actually really like that because
that feels better. Like now there's a point for his character.
Yeah, because he's just there a lot with no driving force behind him whatsoever. So I just wanted to say in an episode where it was meant to be all Homer, you're not respecting the Holy Land. This is the episode that isn't respecting the place they're in.
Yes, seriously.
It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Also, Flan Diddley Danders got banned from life for one of the most sacred churches on the planet, and he just like strolls off and has a cup of tea and goes catch a movie. A boring and also offensive movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, naturally,
the reformers.
Everything must be Jewish in this country.
Fucking back to the whiteboard. But yeah, he just goes off and chills and has a cup of tea, and he's like, yeah, whatever.
Well,
and then
a cup of lukewarm water.
Yes.
Yeah, not a bad joke.
But you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
And then later at the end of the movie, he's back in the fucking church again anyway.
Yeah. Like I said, it was such an inconsequential story beat because it's not like Flanders is trying for the rest of the episode to get back into the thing or prove he's a good Christian to anyone.
These people don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about continuity or story beats or plot or none of it matters.
And have Ned have a moment of, you know what, maybe I can't go into wherever it was, but God is a thing that lives in people, and I need to be amongst my friends and family, that's where God is, or something like something else. Like,
yeah, this is just so not thought out.
Yeah.
All right, we are at the end here. BT, do you have any other notes?
Oh, I do, because I'm not done. There are so many things in this that suck balls.
So many things.
There's just a bit where like Homer's like, say it like Dracula. And it's like, again, why are we doing this? It just takes so much time. And it's my ringtone now.
And the handstand thing.
Fuck it.
Why?
Bart's walking around the Wailing Wall and he's all like reading them. He's like, oh, that's sad, sad, sad. It's like, of course, they're prayers to God that they're going to the point of going to Jerusalem to try and solve. They're not going to be, everything's fine, God, thanks, bye.
And then going into the extended fight with him and Homer. Don't tell Marge there's chocolate on the hotel pillows. Why, you little blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I've been eating the chocolate before she got the chance to know. Fuck.
This is a wasted episode.
Just the terrible bit where Homer's napping in the tomb and he's all like, but isn't this where this is where the most famous man ever was buried? He's like, oh, Porky
the pig?
He's like, no. And it's like, Porky's a pig and he's animated, but he is buried here. Right? Like, oh, God, shut the fuck up.
Seriously.
Why did they go with Porky Pig?
Like, he's not that fucking stupid.
Yeah, like anyone else. Like fucking even someone that was alive. I don't know. Angus Young. Like
yeah.
Just
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah.
yeah.
And Marge is like, so they find Homer and he's all, I am the Messiah. And Marge's like, oh, but you still have our passports. Oh, of course, I wouldn't. Like, again, that's not a joke. That's just a thing you're saying.
Yeah, it's like they ran out of Jerusalem stuff and so they were like, oh, what else happens when you go on holidays? Did you know they have chocolates on the pillows?
Oh. And then my final note is also another non-joke where Homer falls out of the window and jumps into a truck of used yarmulkes. And it's like, this one says Carolina Panthers. Like, that's not a joke. Those are just words that you put together and said had a punchline.
Danny, any other notes?
Lizard people. The bat country. Lizard people are fucking in the mud.
Tell me about the fucking golf shoes.
Man, I can't wait to see Fear and Loathing in Springfield.
Oh, I know. And when White Rabbit bites off his own head, I want you to throw this thing in here with me, man.
It's the rabbit with the one ear from the that other comic. All right, it's time for my final notes.
Now it's time for his final notes. Elliot's final notes.
Yeah, fucking harmony. Jimbo being involved with the church club again, more dragged out jokes. Skype. Flanders says he wants to know what pita bread tastes like. Maud used to own a fucking pita bread truck.
But never sampled the product himself.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
That'd be unchristian. Cutting into their profits. Christians are all about profits.
And so the Lord says, do not get high on your own supply.
Love it.
The breakfast buffet scene, I don't even know why I wrote it down. It was just, it dragged out, right? The whole omelet thing.
Oh, man, what the fuck was the point of that? This muffin's so much bigger than the one at Nazareth.
Yeah.
Finally, you like something better than Nazareth.
Oh, and Homer trying to order a falafel for the top of Mount Zion.
Fuck, this episode is the worst.
Isn't it?
This episode is the worst.
Oh, what about when Jacob was talking about Egypt and Passover and dead baby, Passover, dead baby.
Oh, God.
What the fuck, right?
Yeah, I know how Passover works. We don't need the dead baby reminder.
Yeah, it was just, again, another part of one of his stupid, long, extended rants. Like, at the end, especially, like, Marge said something very bad, which is like, why are you people so pushy? And then he goes on to his whole pushy
why
rant.
don't you go through several genocides then? And also, Passover was the firstborn son. They weren't not necessarily babies.
Why are you people so pushy?
Yeah,
I didn't even notice that.
Not good. And they had to fit matzo balls in there, so naturally...
they had to.
No, I missed that bit. I must have been blind with rage.
Yeah. Flanders going, and the only thing you've done on this trip is take photos of funny sodas. Here's a slideshow of funny sodas.
Oh, and they're called Oi, Oi, Oi.
Yeah.
Fuck
or
off!
New Lemon Lime Oi.
Wow. I am...
Diet Brisket. What was the other one? Yeah.
They're not even puns. They're just... things that are Jewish that have a soda now.
Yeah,
well, everyone's like their cross to bear. Like you. The cross. Fucking took you all night to write that one. Oh, and of course the Veggie Tales, because, yeah, if you're going to have a religious episode...
Gotta have VeggieTales in it.
Yeah.
And then they didn't come back for anything.
That could have worked, as in that's like Homer's only touch point for religion, that's his vision. But by then I was so angry and tired, I could not give a fuck.
It is time to rank this thing.
Failure.
Man, we have gotten through this one so quickly. This is like one of our shortest segments ever.
God, it feels like it's dragged.
On the Simpsons Index, we rank using our 6-point scale, which starts down the bottom at failure. Maybe if the episode was just meh, you give it participant. But for the good rankings, you got okay bronze, good silver, excellent gold. But for the best of the
That's all, folks.
For the best of the very best, you give cubic zirconia. I'm going to go first. Let me show you how it's done. Failing the fuck out of this one. I don't have much more to say, BT.
Yeah, I'm not even flinching to kick this in the pit. Fail.
Danny, finish it off.
This is garbage. This is a garbage fire. I feel offended and upset that you've wasted our lives, but I'm glad that I can warn future generations. Failure.
And that will be a unanimous failure. We are giving this episode the index finger.
Beautiful.
It will be joining other such unanimous failures as Futurama, the weird time jump episode where Homer and Marge divorced.
Yeah.
The Italian Bob.
Did not like that one.
Man, I was such a young man when I thought that was the worst episode I'd ever seen.
Mentioned it before, Homer Simpson, This Is Your Wife, the Ricky Gervais episode. Funeral for a Fiend, where Sideshow Bob and Cecil come back to town.
I almost feel like you could enjoy it after seeing this one, you know?
Yeah.
Go back to that and be like, oh, those were the
I know,
days. But I thought that was
fucking
bad.
And yeah, Lisa goes gaga.
Classic terrible.
A tree grows in Springfield, which we reviewed the other week.
Which one's that?
With Homer's iPad and the tree that Hope and
that was just a mess. That wasn't like bad. It was just messy bad.
Yeah. Frink gets testy. Remember?
Yes.
I remember hating the fuck out of that one.
Ooh, did not enjoy.
Yep. Camp Krustia, The Great Fatsby Part 2, and Love is in the N2O2ARCO2NEHECH4.
The classic.
Every time.
Yeah, man. Classic failures. All right, guys. Before we move on to the next segment, is that reputation justified?
Is that reputation justified?
We have two.
Okay.
And
why? I feel like I'm already angry. Are we booking plane tickets to America to find these people?
Are you going to do them with silly voices?
Todd Vanderworth of the AV Club. No. Todd Vanderworth of the AV Club.
Well, what's a Vanderworth?
Hey!
He gave this episode a B+.
No, he didn't.
Which is on their scale like a silver.
Fire him.
A B+.
Let's buy their company and fire him.
He says, there were jokes here that went on way too long.
Yep.
Like that whole Krav Maga thing.
Yep.
But for the most part,
nope.
This was a funny vacation episode, he says.
Whoa.
Does he know what the words funny, vacation, or episode mean?
Oh, Todd, sell the van. And old mate, Robert Canning of IGN.
Ooh,
Robert the Feather Touch Canning.
Gave this episode a 7.3.
Fuck off! Oh my, I'm so sorry.
That's okay, man. Better for editing to go from loud to quiet than the other way around. So that's like a bronzy, silvery sort of for their scale. And sorry, this is a long one, but I feel like it's all worth it. I was underwhelmed with Sacha Baron Cohen's voice work as the group's tour guide.
Agreed.
He was like a sped-up Borat and was actually a bit difficult to understand at times.
Fair. Yeah.
The few jokes that did get through were only okay. It's difficult to keep your expectations in check when you hear about an upcoming guest star, and that likely affected my perception of this episode, but that is what it is. Perhaps subsequent viewings will find me enjoying this more, but for now, the greatest story ever told was just this side of good.
Okay, again, his review does not match his score.
Nope.
He said, it's always hard to tell when you hear about a celebrity cameo being on The Simpsons, and that cameo was terrible, but I suppose it was a pretty good episode. It's like, no, all you focused on was the part you didn't like.
Yep.
Didn't like his accent. Could barely understand him. His jokes were kind of so-so.
7 out of 5. 7 out of 10, sorry.
Yeah, you're scoring it like we like dogs now.
I know, I'm broken and angry.
All right, guys. Well, let's get out of here and move on to the next episode where we're actually going to be doing another sort of Ned and Homer religious deep dive.
I mean, they better be careful because my knives are out.
But this one, they're going more on the Darwin side of the argument. So we are going to be going to watch The Monkey Suit. We'll be back.
Is this where, like, Ned and Homer, 2 men enter, only 1 man survives? That's Darwinism, baby!
Yeah, man. And we are back, and we just watched our Teens Era episode. This was Season 17, Episode 21, The Monkey Suit. First released in May of '06, it was directed by Raymond S. Percy and written by J. Stewart Burns. In this episode, Flanders tries to get creationism taught in schools, and then it turns out that creationism will be the only thing taught in schools, not evolution, the devil's fucking theory on how man came to be, and Lisa takes Flanders to court. Guys, what do you think?
Garbage. Lots of garbage.
It may just be that I'm full of meat and booze, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm with him. Surprisingly, it was garbage, and I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it, and then I kind of did, and then I kind of did again, and I kind of did, and I kind of did again. It was enjoyable, but it was garbage.
It had a coherent plot, and then some turns, and then some turns that sucked. But I really didn't laugh all that much.
No.
Pretty joke light.
Yeah, I think this is one where I liked the story beats a lot more than the jokes, but then I felt like they really were very ham-fisty and very...
They were very ham-fisty.
And, you know, I'm on the evolution side and fuck creationism and all that, but...
Fuck creationism, fellow kids.
I thought by now you know they're both wrong.
Oh.
A wizard did it. God.
And every answer to the question was a wizard did it.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll start out with you, Captain Wizard Theory. For better or worse, what is a moment from this episode that stands out to you?
It's for worse, and it's the total lack of wizards.
Yeah, I agree with this guy.
Yeah.
The third theory that needs to be taught in schools.
Man, I don't nothing really stands out in this episode. It's all okay. You know what? I'm going to go with the very beginning. I really like Bart trying to condense an entire summer into one afternoon.
Yeah.
That was a pretty fun montage. I had a good time on that one. It's not a full slight to the rest of the episode, but it's a mild slight. You know, it's this kind of slight where it'll get home later, and it's going to bed, has its pajamas on, lies down next to her, and go, hey! That kind of slight.
Fair enough. Bart's intro there was actually produced for the episode I'm Spelling as Fast as I Can.
Oh, really?
And because, they were just running over, so, they just shelved that opening sequence and, managed to shoehorn it into this episode.
Shoehorned it in.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, it has shit all to do with the episode.
Oh,
yeah.
Incredibly shit all. It's not about Lisa or religion or anything. It's just Bart having a little wacky adventure, which, I liked as well. That baseball thing, that was great.
The baseball thing was great.
Yeah. Then he eats a slice of each pizza. He eats a slice of each pizza. I'm going to take it down. He eats a slice of each piece of pizza just in slow motion.
No, he doesn't. Try again.
He eats a slice of each.
He runs around and eats
He doesn't eat a slice of each piece of pizza.
Fine. He eats a bit of each piece of pizza.
He takes a bite of each slice of pizza.
He takes a bite of each slice of pizza while running around in slow motion.
Yeah, after he did the...
It's a victory lap. It's a victory lap.
Mm-hmm.
After he just done the victory lap with fucking fireworks and exploding lights and everything.
Yeah.
Then I thought his crossing off kiss a girl for the first time was great.
Yep.
Then I thought her kiss 100 boys was a really cheap sexist thing to like degrade the women there.
How?
It just was. Like there was no real need for suddenly
She wanted to kiss 100 boys. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
And use it. That's
Sexist.
why it shouldn't be used as a punchline. Sexist.
He wanted to have a summer romance. If that's not wrong, then how is her wanting 100 summer flings sexist? Sexist.
Maybe Bart's sexist too. Sexist.
Maybe lists are sexist. You ever think about that?
We're through the looking glass here. How about you, Danny? For better or worse, what's a moment from this episode that stands out to you?
The sexism!
You mean the lists?
The list. Well,
there were a lot of list jokes. Like Grandpa had one, Homer had one.
I actually thought the very next scene was also sexist. I can't even remember what it was now.
You're talking about how Marge was all like, "Oh, a museum we women can like."
Oh yeah, that was kind of sexist.
It was a bit.
Yeah, let's go to the museum, and they're like, "Oh, there's a display on loom, crochet, knittery, and woman textiles."
Yeah,
and they're like, "Finally, something us women can be excited about." And then suddenly they take it down, and they're like, "Boom! Guns and ammo, fireworks, and pornography." And Homer and Bart are just like, "Whoop, whoop, 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 whoop in your face. Women, you guys aren't allowed to like weaponry or pornography or fireworks because you're women. You want womanly whimbiz."
Yeah, which is bullshit because, the women were having a great time in the Wet Expo. Like Maggie and Marge having their little play mugging. Yeah. That was pretty
And we
cute.
happen to know that Marge loves pornography.
I thought you meant guns, but...
Oh, she was a cop, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's some great cop pornography.
Lots of frisking.
Calendars.
Yeah, it would have been an easy
handcuffs.
joke to have Marge excited about looms because Marge is excited about looms.
You don't need
but
to
not
make the
lump
entire female gender.
all women in with her, yes.
Yeah.
And I think Lisa would have gotten something out of it too. I think she just wants to go to a museum.
Oh, dude, museums are cool. Looms are cool. That's fine.
Yeah, history is always interesting.
Saying that finally something in history that us women can enjoy out of all history,
From
finally.
looms to liberation, or whatever it was, yeah.
Elliot, what was the moment that stood out to you?
For better or for worse.
I was going to just jump on Shag's moment and say that it is kind of weird just after we have like Bart's summer montage and then we go into a bunch of more sketches in the weapons thing. It's just sort of weird to stack those two things.
By sketches.
Yeah, but having said that, those were some of my favorite jokes of the episode. Like, yeah, I loved a lot about the weapons thing, but I didn't really get sort of the point about screwing Flanders in that intro scene.
No, it was a bit dumb.
When the episode's going to be like Flanders imposing himself on other people, it's sort of weird that they set it up that...
They start with him being too giving to everybody else, and then we move to him imposing his will on others.
Like the whole Bart cut has nothing to do with the episode. It was just like, hey, look at Bart. Here's Bart. Look at him and laugh. The Flanders bit has nothing to do with the rest of the story. It's just, look at here's Flanders. Let's shit on him. Look, there's Flanders. Let's hold him down and shit on his face and his belief system. That has nothing to do with the rest of the story, which also happens to be about shitting on his belief system separately to this about shitting on Flanders.
Yeah, so it just sort of seemed like a weird thing that they set it up with like Flanders getting screwed over, and that wasn't the point, and neither was Flanders getting revenge on people for screwing him over or anything like that.
He's so meek and humble.
Yeah.
He couldn't be the bad guy in this story. We should support him in his quest to
Continue being meek and humble.
Yeah. It gets you on his side a little, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to say that's the sort of point of the story that stands out to me is, Flanders' whole crusade in this whole thing. We do see a weird Flanders in this episode.
It's that turn more to the ultra-conservative...
Flanderization,
the Westboro Baptist kind of version of things. Not quite yet, but it's the early days of Flanderization. What season is this again?
17. So this is only 4 years before the last episode we watched.
Wow.
I know, it feels so much further from.
So much further.
I don't know. The last episode we watched wasn't exactly a doozy.
Never been sure what doozy means, so...
Let's check.
Let's check the dictionary.
So, dictionary, Simpsons index.
Doozy, something outstanding or unique of its kind. Example, it's going to be a doozy of a black eye. What?
It's going to be a doozy of a black eye.
Well, I'll give you a doozy of a black eye there, fella.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense now. Play count. How many times before tonight have you seen this episode?
I've seen this once and maybe twice, actually. I have seen this one before.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one I've seen a couple of times now. I actually found myself returning to it.
Is this like the first ever time on the index that I've seen something once or twice?
Yeah.
I think either I've never seen it or it's like season 1 and I've seen it 400 times.
Yeah, because like most sensible people, you gave up on watching The Simpsons at a certain point.
And then sometimes I'd wake up at like 4 in the morning and you've left The Simpsons on in your room while you snore up a chainsaw.
Yep. Good fun.
Yeah, and now I only watch Simpsons for podcasts and I have a CPAP machine.
Times they change.
Ain't that it? Sunrise, sunset, and moss grows fast on a rolling stoner.
So, was this a wacky episode?
Not particularly.
Sort of was.
Interesting. Discourse, let's fight. What aspects felt wacky to you?
Wacky's the wrong word, and I'm sorry, and I take it back. But what I'm pointing at, I don't understand the storyline.
Yeah.
In terms of the plot. Like, it went from Flanders was like, there's not enough people in church or something like that. Why did Flanders start doing the teacher thing?
Well, because he saw the evolution exhibit at the museum.
He saw the evolution exhibit at the museum.
Yep.
And he was like, oh, there's evolution in my museum.
No, I catch you. He saw the evolution exhibit at the museum. Somehow this relates to him going to the school and saying, stop teaching this.
Did he go to the school? He went to the church.
Called a church meeting.
Called a church meeting about it.
Yeah,
called
a church meeting.
Helen Lovejoy was all like, hey, Tim, this would be a really good way to get our flock back on side.
But then that's not what it was about.
Here we go. See, this is the point. This is what I was looking for.
Even Lovejoy's just like, you got to take this Bible with a grain of salt, nerd. I mean,
that was great.
A great line.
That was a great line.
Yeah.
Lovejoy just being like, come on, man, it's a fucking Bible. I mean, really, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Even the Vatican is like, a lot of Genesis is largely just metaphor.
Oh, man. They're as close as they are legally allowed to say it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Guys, we are obliged to say this is true, but quote unquote true quote.
Yeah.
Quote.
Yeah, but let's get back on the scene.
Yeah. Yeah, Ned's called the church meeting.
Yep.
And the Lovejoys are all like, come on, calm down. And then like, wait a
calm
second.
down.
We can get some meat back in the seats if we make a big deal out of it.
We can get meat back in the seats.
Yeah.
Because everyone's going to the vibro chairs in the other church. Was it
Pescatarians?
Pescatarians?
Not a pescatarian, and he knows it. Look at that face.
Episcopalians.
Yeah.
Pescatarian is, the vegetarians who still eat fish.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, this is the point where it felt like a leap to go from Lovejoy being like, oh, fuck it, man, it's the Bible, it doesn't actually mean shit, to suddenly evolution must be taught in schools.
Yeah.
And then boom, loophole, we shouldn't have two different things arguing in, which of course is the whole point of science, for things to argue against each other and then prove their strengths and weaknesses. And then the judge is like, yes, I've got to judge a wet t-shirt competition after this. I suppose we should only have one thing in school.
And Lisa's all, I suppose everything just worked out for me. Wait a second, it didn't?
Yeah.
The opposite happened?
For no fucking reason. I mean, it makes no sense why they would suddenly agree with Lisa that blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. This is bullshit.
I thought the wackier leap, though, was Skinner being all like, oh, why do you expect me to teach creationism? I'm a respected educator. Rah, rah, rah. And then they're like, we've got the lease for your Camry that came from a Christian car dealer.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, and for the rest of the episode, Skinner's...
He's crusading for it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like a point of conflict for him. Which
not at all.
I think is a major misstep of this episode.
Not very fucking Christian of them, is it? To hold that over his head like that.
And not very educational of Skinner to go, I'll sell out what I want to teach these children because you can destroy my
beliefs in evolutionism, in science, in education.
Yep. Just because my Camry, no.
Well, yeah, which is weird because, why would Reverend Lovejoy and Flanders blackmail someone? And also, so they burn the lease. He goes fucking, hey, some dickheads came and got my lease. Can I get my other lease?
Also, theoretically, they've got the copy of the lease that the dealership owns. So if they destroy it,
if they burn it,
they have no record that he has a car.
Yeah,
so Skinner
free
still
car.
has the car.
Yeah.
So, not a great threat.
Yeah, and in terms of wackiness, so there are these like wacky plot
It's like
leaps.
a plot line wackiness. Yeah, a logical inconsistency. Oh, also the Bambi thing was wacky.
Oh, yes. So this is our guest star of the episode, Larry Hagman as Wallace Brady.
The Larry Hagman?
Dude was just like invented to piss me off.
First of all, Larry Hagman, he played JR on the series Dallas.
The JR?
The one that got
series
shot.
Dallas, yeah.
Yeah. And he passed away in 2012, rest in peace. And so his character was based off the lawyer on something called the Scopes Monkey Trial. Now, this is a very fucking deep well to go down, and all I can say is just go check Wikipedia, but it's basically this.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big, like, To Kill a Mockingbird vibe going on as well.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about here, where, like...
I'm getting a bit of that Hyper Chicken from Futurama as well.
Oh, of course, because they're doing the same bit. They're all doing the same bit. Now, I may not be a big city lawyer, like using your simple country vibe to appeal to your audience and masses and sell the delusion, the lie that your homespun wisdom outsmarts science and rhetoric is...
Not what happens in...
Yeah, I know. Well, no. In fact, it was the good guy that kind of used his earthiness to get through to the racist guys.
Yeah.
Okay, sidebar. It's not To Kill a Mockingbird. Let's step forward.
No, but... man, I liked this character. I thought he was one of the better parts of the last half of this episode.
He was clearly a trope, and he was predictable, and he was doing his thing about being homespun and selling his country wisdom to try and sway the crowd. But he did it great. I really enjoyed what he was doing.
Yeah.
I was on board. Not on board with his lies, but I was on board.
And even bringing in, oh, so you're the scientist? Oh, yeah, I got a degree in truthology from the National Christian Institute. And yeah, that sort of shit. And even bringing Bambi in, which was ridiculous. But who killed your mother? Evolution?
Absolutely.
Mama.
It really like highlights the childish weakness of this sort of argument. I mean, we're not here to get into a religious debate, but the whole premise of any argument around religion is, how can you argue when people get hurt and offended about it? Oh, you can't talk about that like that because it hurts my feelings. Well, I'm just trying to have a civilized conversation with you about...
Your civility is offensive!
Yeah, that's undercutting the argument process, the debate process, which is fine when you're hanging out at your bar, but in a court of law, when it's about fact and evidence and science and law, I would say that is a criminal way of manipulating the system.
And just to bring it to the end of this trial scene as well, what did you think about the wackiness of Marge proving that evolution and...
Through Homer trying to open a beer?
Yeah.
Fucking hated it.
Yeah?
Yeah, terrible. Awful, stupid, hated it.
It's predictable.
I liked the idea, but I think they just fucking... This was the ham-fistedness that I was talking about.
That's it. It's the right idea. I've got a way to prove evolution.
See, one person behaving slightly like a monkey? Well, that proves the entire thing.
But even Flanders...
Clang, clang, gavel, gavel.
But even Flanders getting frustrated. Oh, you gorilla-faced monkey ape, and...
Yeah, of course he goes straight to the
gosh,
fucking
if
monkey
I can call Homer
slurs.
that many different ape names, he must have evolved from an ape.
And then if you didn't get it, Marge fucking holds up the picture and see, and it's like...
And they're making the same... I know. That is ham-fisted. That is poorly done.
Is monkey-fisted.
Yeah, checkmate.
I could go some ham.
There goes some monkey.
And look, the other wackiness I wanted to point out was apparently Milhouse is a foot taller now.
Oh, yeah. Stretched on the rack.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
that
all
was
like,
wacky.
I felt my arm come out of the sock. And Bart's
afterwards
like, oh,
it
it's
went
fine.
crunch.
And turns it like 4 more times.
And
like,
yeah, you hear those like...
oh.
Yeah, they went nuts in the Foley there.
And then he says fucking was
Hand raised.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, you in the shirt. Yes, me. The wacky thing I'd like to point out is fucking Nelson, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, again.
Wow, this was a wacky episode.
With the prisoner references, yeah.
Oh, is that what that is?
The island.
And he pulls off the mask and suddenly there's a flamingo underneath.
Does that fade out with the puzzle pieces?
Yeah, see, I liked the misdirects, but I thought, the puzzle pieces.
It's funny, but this is the wrong episode for this shit.
Yeah.
Why not in the fucking island episode? Simpsons. Come on, Castellaneta, come on.
So how about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel the bumps?
No.
There were like tiny fragments of it. So I really like there's a bit where Lisa's all, you can't have evolution and science at the same time. They're incompatible ideas. And Marge is like, well, you know, they have the idea that Bart's a brat, but he's also my special little guy. Those are incompatible ideas, but they both
Maybe they can learn from each other.
And I really like the sentimentality of that.
Was good.
It was really sweet.
But then she followed up with, you know, Homer says he's at work, but he's also out there on the trampoline.
Yeah.
And that's a much less,
which is annoying because it goes from two opposing opinions both being correct to Homer clearly just lied to you. They're not opposing ideas.
That's it. That went from being a really great perspective to being a cheap gag. It was cheap.
Yep.
Yeah,
cheap,
and
cheap.
It wasn't that funny. He was on a trampoline, so what? And then she runs away and joins
She
them.
runs away and joins the fucking trampoline. That's not a good punchline.
Yeah, look, I will say there is something to the heart moment of Lisa talking to Flanders at the end.
It's so heavy-handed, though.
It just makes me wish that was sort of more peppered throughout the episode. Lisa trying to go up to Flanders like, can I talk to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's like, I respect your point of view. It's like, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
neither of them
remember
are
you
trying to
doing-
understand the other.
Yeah.
Flanders isn't even thinking about what's the right thing to do here. I mean, he's thinking about how can we get butts in seats. That is not Christian. That's not even Flandersy.
Nope.
Well, no, and...
Flanders, think about butts?
Never. And if Flanders had tied in the events at the start of the episode of, oh, everyone's rude to me, it's probably because they don't have God in their life.
Yeah.
That would have at least been a string to connect those two things, but it just never was the point.
Mm-hmm. Concur.
Says a lot about the heart when we're already, I think we're done. Yeah.
Yeah, I had very few notes on this one.
Heart.
But ultimately, though, guys, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
I'm sort of going to say yes. Like
Yeah.
a tentative yes. The Bart scene at the start, clearly cropped from another episode.
Yep.
Very Simpsons-y, though. That sort of summer of love montage, very Simpsons-y.
I feel like both Lisa and Flanders are both they're both their crusade, they're not their characters.
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
I think the episode was a way for the Simpsons writers to say, we like evolution, we don't like Christianity. Ha ha, fellow kids, evolution, atheism, yay.
Do the evolution.
Yeah, but at the same time, Simpsons is sort of about being progressive with things like evolution and marrying Christianity with home beliefs and family values and blah, blah, blah. It was just a shit ham-fisted way of doing it.
Yeah, you think of like the angel episode where Lisa's all, I can't believe people believe in angels. It's so stupid. And Marge is like, well, I do. And there's kind of that moment of, but I love you. And how do you believe in something I don't? She's just like, it's just the way people are. And at the end, when, the angel rises up, Marge's like, well, you were squeezing my hand pretty tight right then. She's like, shut up.
Yeah.
And it's not taking a stance that episode
No,
either.
it's just both just happen in the end. It's all for the glory of a new shopping mall.
Yeah.
So everyone got had, no matter what their perspective was.
Yeah.
They cover belief quite a lot.
Yeah.
Like, they have quite a complex relationship with Christianity for what is essentially largely an atheist series.
Also, Homer has met God on
Homer
multiple
has met
occasions.
God. Saved by God, saved by Flandersism, house burned. You know what? Yes. And the devil. Yeah, they have quite a complex relationship with religion for a show that takes quite an atheist stance most of the time.
Most of the time, but they'll never... Yeah, it's never the complete stance, I suppose.
Yeah, usually they try to marry those two ideas together.
Yeah, and that's sort of what's pretty disappointing about this episode, because it is so obviously one-sided, and I think there is a lot of value into doing an episode that is about, like, which is a real fucking thing, evolution being taken out of curriculums, which is, just a god-awful thing. Fucking pardon the pun. Yeah, so there is an argument to make. I wish they'd sort of made it more about the whole Lisa, what she said at the end. I wouldn't want creationism in schools like you don't want scientists in church. I think...
Yeah, and I think that's fair.
Yes or no, would you watch this one again?
I mean, I don't really feel there's a lot of reason to. It's not bad, but hangover test only. Actually, no, then it's not interesting enough for me to want to watch with a hangover.
Oh, I'd totally watch this one again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's nothing else to get from it.
To get what out of it? What are you looking forward to?
There's a couple of yucks to be heard.
I would watch the beginning with Bart.
Yeah.
And glue it to spelling as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Dude, I just watched one of those like early seasons where the whole episodes were like that.
Oh, yeah. When they were good?
Yeah, when they were good. Like the one where Homer thinks he's about to die, so he goes out and crosses all the things off the list that he wanted to do with his life.
Oh, fuck, that was a good episode.
Dude, that was incredible. I was in tears.
BT, what would you like to change about this episode?
I'd make it better. Like, I would put in more wizards, which is the truth.
Yeah.
And I would also put in something with the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would make this episode much better. No, I think just confirm people's motivations and have that. If you want the moral to be respect, even with different ideologies, then have that run throughout. You know, don't have it just shoved in at the end going, have respect. And that's the main crux. Also, just jokes. I'm sorry, I really didn't laugh at all this entire episode. I didn't cringe. It wasn't bad. I don't feel like there was any kind of jokes that were laughable in it. So some of them joke things. And more wizards.
All right. How about you, Danny? What would you like to change about this episode?
Haven't quite got my head around it yet, so just bear with me. But I think it's about the Lisa Flanders conversation that wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know? The one that talks about why religion shouldn't be part of education and the difference between science and fact and belief and ethics, you know? Like, they never really established that having a system of ethics and morals and beliefs, I mean, beliefs being like, you hope it's true. I believe there's a heaven. I hope there's a heaven. That's the opposite of science. I want to test and prove and see what I can find out about the world. Like, they didn't talk at all about why these are two different approaches to life. And they can be compatible. They're not for me, but they can be compatible beliefs because they do deal with two different aspects of your life. I don't know, man. It didn't feel like it addressed what the whole fucking episode was about. There was something missing right in the core.
You're saying there was a missing link?
Fuck, I walked into that,
You
didn't I?
really did.
Wow. Yeah, good work, man.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I see what he's doing. Yeah, so look, I'm not exactly sure what I want to change, but I want to fix it. And I can feel there's a fix in the ether there somewhere.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, me? What would I like to change? I think there is, especially like when they're showing the kids that video and it's like really demonizing Darwin and he's making out with Satan and all that.
Yeah, that was ugly, wasn't it? Wasn't that so cheap? Unchristianly cheap.
Oh, but like in that...
But at the same time, so fucking Christianly cheap.
Yeah. See, I kind of wish there was more of that stuff, and I wish there was a better reason why all this new religious stuff was entering the curriculum. It's so throwaway, and I think that's a lot of my problem with this episode, that I genuinely enjoyed. I like this episode, but there is just so much wasted potential as well. Yeah. Like, the fact that there was 2 minutes for Bart to do his extended montage gags, and especially gags that were taking their time, that running around the thing in slow-mo, like that took up
What
time.
a waste. What a waste.
Yeah, there was a lot more to get out of this episode that they didn't really go with, and I think that's what's so disappointing about it to me. So, yeah, I'm just really echoing the things of more motivation, better motivations, and try and have Lisa trying to reason with Flanders. Maybe he is going off the rails a bit because he is seeing the devil in everybody in Springfield, and he is like blinded by trying to introduce God at the foundational level of an elementary school when and Lisa, like, can't you see you're the devil now? Look, this also sounds equally as ham-fisted, but like it's weird to have something that's so ham-fisted yet poorly motivated.
Yeah. I think that Flanders is smarter than this. Like, he's always been a smart, intelligent, wise, loving man that is also Christian.
Yeah.
I don't think I see him as someone that would get terrified at the idea of evolution being taught or science being taught. I think he's someone that would talk about how morals and ethics and the importance of religion can work with hand in hand with science and things. I always see him as someone that is smart enough to try and marry those two concepts, you know? Like him getting just instantly offended and shunned. He was more out of character in retrospect than it felt like at the time. And I think he's really underselling the importance of his character and the weight of his argument.
Yeah.
I don't personally believe in Christianity or religion as an idea, but I think there are much better arguments for them than he's pushing, you know?
Yeah. Oh, it's like trying to watch a Ricky Gervais special and it's like, fuck, I'm on your side, dude, but fucking shut up.
For real. For real. Like, he's better than this.
Yeah.
Is Ricky Gervais an atheist? I've never heard that.
Guest stars of this episode.
Ricky Gervais.
No. Do you guys remember who the other guest star playing herself in this episode was?
Whoever the snazzy lawyer was.
Oh.
Got one line. I'm from New York. Boo.
What's her name? McBeal. No, hang on, never mind.
That's Callista Flockhart, but you're getting close.
Ooh, I'm getting close.
Melanie Griffith.
This joke that I hated. Yeah.
I love this joke, but it went on way too long.
It just goes on too long, and then I start thinking about, wait, why are we riffing on Melanie Griffith? Like,
dude, I love the first second of the joke.
Yeah.
But we just spent the last episode talking about jokes that take too many bites of the bagel.
Yeah.
But yeah, Melanie Griffith just like guiding an audio tour that's just let's go in this room. Oh, that's nice. This room's fucking nice. Funny.
Yeah, it is. It just goes on too long.
It does go on too long.
Because then I start thinking about, well, why are we riffing on Melanie?
Is there any statement about Melanie Griffith? Is there any reason we're ripping onto her?
Mm-hmm.
Does she think things are nice?
Think every room is nice?
I don't know what this is coming from.
That's my problem with it. It goes on so long, I think about it. If I didn't think about it, it would be funny.
Does she think things are nice?
Is she just a nice person?
Maybe she's like a critic that's never critical.
Just like, I saw this movie. It was nice.
Well, no, to me it was maybe, if anything, a comment on, like, pointless celebrity audio guided tours in museums or whatever, where they just try and attach a big name.
So it didn't have to be Melanie Griffith. It could have been anybody.
Yeah.
Could have been Callista Flockhart.
Could have been Callista Flockhart. Could have been Brangelina Jolie.
She thinks every room is terrible.
BT, do you have any on the notes?
I do like when Lee's like, it's history. Still going to learn something, but not if I do this the whole time. Die, weapons, die! I like the line, die,
the
weapons,
die.
Sorry, I know it is a total rip-off of a previous Simpsons episode, but that is another story point I wanted to see. I want to see the whole Bart excelling at school now that God did it is like the valid reason for everything. I know,
fair.
It's the same as the leader did it, but
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah, it's like,
No.
nah,
You gotta... Hey, do. You gotta have Rod and Todd suddenly becoming like fucking... school alpha. What's the word? Homecoming ducks?
Magnum cum laude.
Yeah, summer come.
Yeah,
Some
like-
come loud.
Yeah, like Nelson's getting their lunch for them and all that sort of shit.
Well, isn't it semi-established that they're homeschooled?
They have like the slow strut down the hall, and everyone's like,
Because they know everything.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of funny.
It was revealed in like a season 23 episode or something. They go to a different school. They go to a Christian school.
All right, yes, sir. We also have nunchucks. Cool, but useless.
That was fucking amazing.
Recorded on this original vase, which said the first instance of nunchucks was hilarious.
Yeah, there's a dude that knocks himself out, then his friend laughing and bang, take that.
Yep. I do like the town meeting was like, so it's agreed, people can park in handicapped spots if they're just getting for smokes or maybe Pop-Tarts for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he was smoking. Carl was eating Pop-Tarts.
Yep.
Little on the nose there.
Little on the nose, but also like, the system works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my last note is, well, sorry, we only have the manpower to enforce the last law passed.
That was good.
Back in the old days, we've been all over that. A little dark, but pretty funny.
It was just weird that it was Snake.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's a criminal, but he's never been that sort
Never
of...
been a machine gun kind of guy.
Make it the guy in the plant who's all, I'm the angel of death. The time of purification is at hand.
How about you, Danny? Do you have any other notes?
I think we've really talked about the big beats. We've talked about how cheap the simple country lawyer was and how his cheap arguments is sort of reflection of Christianity's cheap desperation to kind of keep their statuses, blah, blah, blah,
Keeping
blah.
in the Bible Belt.
Yeah. Oh, the Bambi bit was great. We talked about how it's not sort of fair for Marge and Lisa to use Homer as a really cheap, like, ploy to get back. That kind of, like, cheapens their argument down to the same sort of level as the Bambi thing. Didn't like that. Talked about the sexism. Talked about the nunchucks. There was Homer with the gun, the bulletproof vest.
Oh my God, just shooting himself in the fucking chest.
It hurts
cool.
so much.
It was kind of cool. It would hurt so much. I was glad that they kept track of how many bullet holes were in the vest.
I do like when they pull away the reveal and the whole place is just
The whole
broken.
place is just broken glass.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not just Homer's fault. That's like everyone just like going nuts in there.
Yeah.
I quite also liked when they were at the back of the queue and they're like, well, if we turn around, it'll be like just like we're at the front of the queue.
Yeah.
And then Homer's like, I'm everywhere, motherfucker. I'm everywhere. That was great. That was like surrealist in its absurd fucking them over.
Yeah.
What about you, man? Anything else you want to?
Well, as it so happens, it's time for my final notes.
It's time for his final notes.
Cool. New theme.
Yeah, very avant-garde.
Thank you.
Bart goes
Final
to see
notes.
the summer blockbuster.
Final notes. Final notes.
You say you want some final notes, well, you know. I've got a bunch of them right here. After the nunchucks, Homer's like, because they're watching it on
the nunchucks, an autobiography.
Wow, deep, sad, moving. Soon to be a daytime TV special. After the nunchucks.
Please carry on. Carry on, please.
So they're watching the nunchuck movie and it's in 3D and Homer does the, this 3D is so realistic you feel like you can touch them.
Yeah.
Not great.
He's not even touching anything that makes sense to what's going on
Yeah,
screen.
it's like you can really feel the face while I'm looking at this vase. Boo.
Another ham-fisted bit in the creation of, the origin of man. Almost fucked that up. In the origin of man exhibit, he goes, oh, sure, creationism is represented, and it's in that display there, and it's playing What a Fool Believes by the Doobie Brothers.
Nice.
What a fool believes. Fun.
Yeah, good choice.
Now Lisa is the Ralph.
Yeah.
Now Lisa is the Ralph. Now Lisa is the Ralph.
Nice.
Oh, it's so much better when you're doing it.
You got this, man.
You say that now. Wait till we get James L. Jones on the show.
Yeah.
J.E.J., if you're listening.
Jedge.
So you're calling God a liar.
Did like it.
Fucking excellent title of that. I love that whole movie as well. It was a bit random how they cut into one of the scenes with like Marge throwing out a bit of orange and then Maggie just was in the bin the whole time.
Yeah, that was odd.
Yeah.
With that look of, I've been in this bin for an hour.
Yeah. Miss Hoover has an ominous drum ready to go whenever.
That was odd.
Yeah.
Love the shadow work in that, though.
Yeah, it looked great.
Classic drum
Ominous.
shadow. Very ominous.
Oh, this is another bit about what I wanted the episode more to be. Lisa gives the secret note for Martin and Database to phone, signs it
Yes.
LMS. Who could that be? Is it Little Mo Sislak? Fuck that joke.
Yeah, that was shit.
Yeah.
Cult of knowledge, though. Secret cult of knowledge maintaining within the religious autocracy of... Oh,
Yeah.
so cool.
And they spent a scene on it.
They spent a scene. There was no follow-up to that shit.
And I remember saying when we did the Mindy episode and Bart had that side plot of him getting, the goofy shoes and the hair stuff and the glasses. And
you know what they could have done?
Yeah.
Time to alienate some fucking audience. They could have done a 2112. That's about a religious autocracy, like oppressing the masses and the one person underneath trying to start the revolution through the power of music.
Saying Flanders is the priest of the Temple of Syrinx. Nice.
Yes. And Lisa has to fight back with the power of music. She finds a guitar in a cave underneath the school. You're welcome.
And she
You're
comes up to the
welcome.
priest and's like, I know it's most unusual for me to come before you so, but I found an ancient miracle. I thought that you should know.
Yes, we know! It's nothing new! Yeah.
Just the way it's
So what would you change, Elliot?
Well, that's it. I actually wanted Lisa's little cult of knowledge club to be more of a thing. One of my notes here is just, well, that got busted up way too quickly.
Yeah.
It really, really did.
Fucking yeah.
Like, why even have the secret of her handing out the notes cut straight to her teaching it in class?
It felt like it was only there for this stupid little Mo Sizlak joke.
And like fucking Radar and Gamma Delta, whatever their names are,
Very
they already
close.
have their secret room and their little secret cult. Here's the Civil play the forbidden music.
Yeah.
Hi.
Well, yeah, that's why I brought up the episode with Bart and the shoes and the hair and the glasses, because that was also like a cool moment that was only one scene, but it was in an otherwise fucking excellent episode. This is one where you're like, yeah, why wasn't that more of a thing?
Yeah.
Marge's little montages, she's rating Origin of Species. What'd you guys think of that?
I agree with the Wookiee.
Moving on then. I like Bart's little ID for Lisa, putting her in witness relocation. This is Senorita Ugly, and her profession is booger picker.
Yep.
Feels very Bart, yeah.
Very, very Bart.
And my last note of the episode is a Flanders line that I really liked, which is, oh, well, boys, it looks like your old popsicle has been licked.
Yeah, that was nice. That was a good line. It felt like a good...
That was nice.
Good way
Yeah.
for him to be dejected.
Let's have a look at this note. Oh, that note's nice too.
I enjoyed that.
But how was this episode?
It's
like-
nice.
To jump back a step, I did like the idea of Marge finding the book and getting caught up in Darwin's theories and being like, wow, he really is persuasive. And suddenly it's a real page turner. But her on the lawnmower, rolling back and forth while reading it, her in the shower, of course, because it has to be funny, but the book in the shower, her in the bed while Homer's trying to fuck her.
That wasn't good.
Oh,
I like
man.
it when you're not into it.
None of these
Yeah.
are good. These are gross.
All right, I think it's about time that we rank this thing.
Okie dokie.
BT, we'll kick it off.
I am going to participant.
Yeah?
It's all okay. I didn't really get any laughs, but I was not angry. So it's just meh, which is a participant.
All right, I'm going a bronze. I've still got some affection for this episode. There's still a bunch of jokes I like. I recognize there's a lot of flaws, and it has a lot of potential, which does make me think, well, maybe I should knock it down for
I find
participant.
that more
but-
frustrating personally, but yeah.
Yeah, but bronze suits my feelings towards it. Danny, finish it off.
Thought listening to you two would give me a clue to.
We just figured out Clue 2.
Instead, you just called him Mewtwo.
Hey, that rhymed.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Rhyme 2 with 2.
Look, I don't think I want to give it a bronze. Participant failure, participant failure, participant failure, participant. I'm going to go with no, I'm going to go with participant. I feel like I should fail it, but I'm going to give it a participant because I just saw failure a minute ago and
Gave you some perspective.
yeah, little taste of perspective. This episode, I feel, is cheap. It's like, how can we get the kids of today on our side? Yeah, we're fucking about evolution, baby. We'll talk about shit, fucking religion and the old people are. It's such an easy way out to be like, yeah, we're so atheist, bro. I think it's weak writing, and they could have done something interesting, complex with it, but they didn't. They just used it as a cheap device to get people on their side. Check out how atheist we bro. You get the idea.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro. They're so fucking atheist, and they're so cool. I'm so on their side. Damn the man. Stand up to the fucking save the empire.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
All right, well, averaging out, this will be a shiny participant. And this will be joining a couple of other season 17 episodes. Homer's paternity coot, where Michael York's his dad, and for some reason...
Ironically.
Is it? Regarding Margie, where they do an amnesia episode. What are some shiny participants that we've done together? All Singing, All Dancing, the clip show from season 9.
Yeah.
Homer versus Dignity, the prank monkey one.
The rape panda one.
Yeah.
Yep. The dive bomb in the second half. Yep.
Yeah.
It really, really is. The Bob Next Door, where it's like Sideshow Bob and a face-off sort of story mashed together. And Dangers on a Train, where Marge accidentally signs up to an Ashley Madison-style website.
Fucking hat boxes and that fucking Ashley Madison website. I did not enjoy that episode, Elliot. I did not enjoy it.
I know, I was the bronze on that one.
Ooh. You're the bronze on this one, you motherfucker.
Yeah, man. I'm just bronzing up your participants all over the place.
You and your fucking forgiveness. How Christian of you.
You understanding.
All right, guys, I think you guys have earned a classic era episode now. So we're going to season 4 to see the time that Marge gets arrested. And we are back, and we just watched our classic and final episode for the evening, which was Season 4, Episode 21, Marge in Chains. First released in May of 93, it was directed by Jim Reardon, written by Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein. In this episode, a lot happens.
Yeah.
Marge accidentally steals some bourbon from the Quickie Mart and then gets sent to prison, and a whole lot of other stuff. Guys, what'd you think?
I'm going to have to stop you right there, because you just sneakily injected your opinion and passed that off as fact. Did you just say she accidentally stole the bourbon?
Well,
Excuse me?
Yes. How interesting to go through a supermarket putting everything else in a basket except for the bourbon, which would have very easily fit in there. Fascinating.
You really are going against the court of law, which conclusively proved her guilty.
Are you saying the justice system got it wrong?
I'm saying Marge Simpson is innocent. She's a poor, overworked mother, and we've all had lapse of judgment. Fucking Lionel Hutz, I should have been her lawyer.
We've all been overworked single mothers before, but that doesn't mean we suddenly start making excuses for our mistakes.
What'd we think?
It's good.
It was enjoyable. It was also like, for early years, that was just some whacked out nonsense, you know?
Lot
It
of
was
whack.
all over the place.
Yeah, I am trying to more actively put the classic episodes through the same filter that I put the new episodes through, and this one is committing a lot of the sins.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of it. Like, usually they start off and you've got, you know, an opening set piece, and then you have all the riffs based on that set piece that you can. This, they had the Juice Listener and the Osaka Flu.
Yep.
But then it just kind of felt like every point from there was just new set pieces to riff on rather than a proper story.
Yeah, it did not feel like a story.
Yeah, this one's going to have the problem of being that we've seen it so many times. It's going to be hard to rate
And
because
you've got to give it to it that its riffs were funny. There's so many great quotes in this.
Oh, so many memeable moments.
It was just a mess.
Yeah. I refer to Pods in the Key at Springfield's review, which James was quoting somebody and he's saying that, like, writing, you know, there's a certain amount of effort you need to put in, you know. It's a bit of an exercise.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
This episode is particularly sweaty. Like,
yeah,
I like
it works.
that. I
It's
like
just- It's
that.
a little bit messier.
Yeah.
But, it still comes together.
BT, what is a moment from this episode that stands out to you for better or worse?
Actually, so it's going to be the whole like science fiction monster riff of the flu moving through the city.
Yeah.
It's got
Yeah,
all
that
the
was fun.
music. And then Chief Wiggum throwing his food out and then pulling out his gun and just shooting it.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
Beautiful stuff. And another little quick movie reference to Psycho when Marge
that's
goes
right.
to the bathroom and Mrs. Flanders is where's the name? Maud, there it is.
It rhymes with Rod and Todd.
Maud follows her and just does and it's got like the stuffed owl up in the corner like in Psycho and
Oh, really?
Yeah, attention to detail.
A
man.
little homage, if you will.
It's pronounced homage.
Homage.
Then a back in
You got to get the rasp going on. You need more phlegm.
Yeah.
That scene as well, though, that is super creepy, though, right? Like, I appreciate the reference, but then just Maud going, just wash your hands and get out, and, like, she's still looking at her. Like, that'd be a fucked up thing to see.
Oh,
Yeah,
indeed.
man. It was pretty creepy in Psycho, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm assuming.
It's a good movie.
Which one?
Actually, all of them are not bad.
Hitchcock and Heche?
Psycho 7, Adrian's Revenge.
No, the remake is absolute shockingly garbage. But,
The Anne Heche one.
Psycho
yeah.
5, Dream Warriors.
Nice cross-reference.
Mm.
Anyway, the point is the Psycho sequels to the original are not good, but they're not bad.
Mm.
But yeah, just going back to the flu thing, yeah, I liked all the gags around this section. The only one that didn't really do anything for me was the Skinner one. And I think it's because I would have rather Agnes reacted.
Yeah. Well, we need the obvious setup of flu germs entering every orifice in my head.
Yeah.
You know, just in case you didn't get it. These are flu germs entering the orifices of people's heads.
But yeah, and I always quote the Arnie Pyers going around and around and look out on 12th and Main because I'm going to be sick.
All right, son, let's open up and see what you got.
Yeah, and that Foley effect of the dropping vomit, yeah.
It was a great scream as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about you, Danny? What's a moment from this episode that stands out to you for better or worse?
He got to do sort of two-ish, so I'm going to go with sort of two-ish. What really stands out to me is the intro ad.
I can't believe they invented it.
Oh, so good. So good. The Cardelier or...
Why would you have this?
And you might remember me from P is for Psycho. That was great.
Oh, another Psycho reference.
Yeah, another Psycho reference. The orange juice. Up till now, this was the only way to juice an orange. Oh, so... And then it cut away, and Homer's desperately trying to juice an orange on his eye.
Yeah, because this is obviously how everyone does it. You mean there's a better way?
Yeah.
Magic.
And
I
you
thought
could
that
be
was
forgiven
great.
for thinking this year that that's how they used to do it in 93.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they did.
They were strange times.
Yeah, just everything around that where he's all like, Nick, are you sure it's on? I can't hear a thing.
Yeah.
It's
As for
riffing,
riffing gold,
Oh, yeah.
that is top form. I love it. Counterpoint, I did not love the quick wrap up, Like, end of movie, suddenly everyone's like, oh, we miss Marge. I don't think they went into that enough, and it really stuck out to me.
Fast.
Yeah. Suddenly, boom, whole town outside Marge's house. Boom. I should use my powers of gossip for good and not for evil like I normally do. Okay, I'm going to go with that one. Let's use that one. Yeah, that feels good.
Yeah, fucking Helen Lovejoy in this episode, man.
Oh, man.
As a minister's wife, I'm privy to a lot of sensitive information.
And here it is.
And just Marge grinding on the table. Yeah.
That sounds
Let
sexy.
the records show that the witness made the drinky motion.
Oh, yeah, very good. But yeah, it is a shame that because, it feels like we don't hit the actual story until the third act. And, they had the extra long intro in this one. It's like, why wasn't there a bit more of that?
They got so distracted with the fun,
Yeah.
They're on great form with their riffs and jokes, and all of the shtick they did was great. I loved it. There's the bit where they sing to him off key and they starve in a minute. That was good.
Mommy.
But like, where the fuck was the storyline? Where was the town realizing they need Marge in their life? Where was like Homer and the things learning to cope? Where was there was a house suddenly messy. 10 minutes later.
But for the town, it was immediately to 100. There was no progress or small things. It was just, now that we don't have Marge's Rice Krispie Squares, we don't have the money for that statue of Lincoln, we'll have to get one of Carter.
No marshmallow treats! Quick, whole town, get Marge back. And then they don't do anything about Marge getting back. She still waits out her entire prison sentence. But they are waiting for her at the house with the Marge statue.
While the city burns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just totally a smash. We need Marge. She's walking out of prison.
Yeah.
That's it. The fuck is going on, guys?
Yeah.
The Carter statue of Marge is funny because it's a throwback to the Carter statue, but nope. Why? Why?
Yeah. And I gotta say, like, this episode is filled with, I think, just a couple too many of these, like, high exaggerated jokes. Like, as much as I love the juice loosener, like, one drop was like, and then we can keep the house clean 10 minutes later. Like, and especially in this third act, which seems to be, like, more of the jokes about the mess in the house than it is in the story about Marge in prison.
We flushed the gator down the toilet, but got it stuck halfway, and now we have to feed it.
Yeah, there's so many jokes where like the first bite's great, second bite's crap, maybe the third bite's great again. It's like one of those flavor pies, those kind of thing.
Did you just dream something?
Delicious flavor pie.
Okay,
You can really taste the flavor.
the schnozberries taste like, and what I mean is like. Okay. I like the juicer bit. I didn't like the one drop. I mean, I like the whisper quiet. I didn't like him seeing one drop and then everyone racing out to buy the juicers.
Yeah.
Why would you put the one drop in the ad? But then it's the same as the whisper quiet. Why is that in the ad? It is.
As is the car that crashes because of the chandelier that they're trying to sell.
I like that we can work together and keep the house thing. I didn't like the smash cut to 10 minutes later. I liked her little joke about, we always wear the same red dress. It feels like I've been wearing this red dress forever.
Yeah.
That was great. And then I didn't like so many ups and downs. Like the placebos. I was like,
I do love that line.
yeah, I love that line. Where can we get these placebos?
There's some in this truck.
Well, that's the one I didn't like. Maybe there's some in the truck. But then I did like this truck was full of killer bees. Everyone gets killer bees. And then he's like, hump. A placebo, I'm cured. No, I mean,
Ow.
It's so
Yeah.
flip flop. Do you know what it's like to have 17 circumcisions? Wait, I mean,
Vasectomy is the line you were going for.
yeah,
So all over the place.
Snip, snap.
Thought he was watching another show for a minute.
it's all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say that the moment from the story that stood out to me, and I think it was the most consistent part of the story, was the whole courtroom scene. And how lucky are we that, yes, at the start of the episode, we get Troy McClure.
Yeah.
And then for a good chunk in the middle, we get my boy Lionel Hutz.
Oh yeah.
In some of his best lines as well.
Oh, fucking A. Like, I do also think that this was, like, filled with ups and downs, but, like, if nothing else, this is an amazing showcase for Phil Hartman.
Yeah, it's got the crisp. Do you say you just forgot to pay for that bottle of delicious Kentucky bourbon? Or the foulness of the brown liquors?
Yeah.
What's that?
That was
You want me to drink you, but in the middle of a trial.
Yeah.
the music, the violins coming in, and he races out of the court, and he calls David Crosby.
He's his sponsor.
Yeah,
Wow.
What a get.
I know.
I know, that was great. It was a bit of a random pull to cut into, but I love it. I love it. And then he's later in the show as well. and-
Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Hutz, do you realize you're not wearing any pants?
You are. Ah!
And the tie bit as well.
Yeah.
Although
yeah.
it's always bugged me that he is clearly doing it to the rest of the court.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows he's lying,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter.
It went on just long enough. Any longer,
Yeah.
I would have gotten frustrated. Any less, wouldn't have driven it home. I think it was really well done.
I think it's indicative of this very kind of extreme version of Springfield, where
Yeah.
if it's on
Yeah.
TV, everyone's going to go crazy and buy it. And if,
Yeah.
so what if everyone saw him taking off his tie? If his big punchline is, I'm not wearing a tie at all, they're like, oh, wow. Oh, my gosh, I'm stunned. No Rice Krispie Squares, we're rioting.
Yeah.
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 I really liked the cut to the next day where he's just not wearing any pants. It really has this, like, is this just like a nightmare dream? No, it's just fucking,
Well, it's not just not pants. He's not wearing underpants either. You see a little Hutz cheek there.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
So he's just got his Hutz dong flopping around for the jury to see.
Unless he's in like a G-string.
Oh, yeah. Or one of those like jock straps where it doesn't
Yeah.
have the butt part, but it has the front part.
Yep.
And he's got those little sock suspenders.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Play count. How many times before today have you seen this episode?
Jimmy Carter's worth.
He's pretty old. He's still alive.
30-day prison sentences worth.
30 days?
That was about a lie.
30. Yeah. I've seen this episode a bunch. It's
Metric bunch or an imperial bunch?
metric. I'm always fucking about that metric.
It just makes more sense.
Fuck that imperial system, man.
You rebel alliance, you.
Rise up and fight the imperial army.
Yes, like almost 99% of the world already is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that when they closed down the U.S. government, they were going to try and
Yeah.
switch to metric while they were gone.
Yeah, well, I was distracted. I like that.
Oh, that was your chance, America.
So, wackiness. Was this a particularly wacky episode?
Indeed.
Let me ask that crocodile that's sticking out of the toilet and eating Grandpa's teeth.
So they flushed the gator down the toilet. So they got the gator and
Yeah.
they dragged it upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somehow stuck it tail first. They were holding it by the, like...
We got to hold the mouth shut so you shove its butt in there and
Yeah.
then flush. Got stuck in the S-bend.
and it's sticking straight up.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking Looney Tunes comedy moment.
Really is.
But it's gorgeous. It's like a beautiful
yeah.
shot of just like
I
gator
love,
sticking up and him with the
Grandpa's
plunger.
fiery rambunctiousness. He's like, hey, I
Yeah.
bet you like a taste of me, huh?
Beautiful, man.
He's not there for a reason. He's just taunting it.
And Bart and Lisa cleaning up as well.
Man, it must have taken them so much work to get the carpet over all of that shit.
Yeah, including Raphael.
Yeah, Raph was in there.
Hey, watch it.
Great little comedy nugget there, you know?
It was. But yeah, the classic thing of Bart stepping on the unknown objects and all the various Foley work,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
can opened at one
Yeah.
point. And...
But let's not forget, you can also get this smoking monkey. Ooh, he's taking another puff.
Oh, so this was a point of debate in my family household.
Bate.
Were they alive?
Yeah. Was this just a toy monkey or are they actual live
I mean,
monkeys?
he's got a drawer of the exact same thing over and over again, and they're all just smoking. So
You think
they've
they
got
had
to
a
be
drawer
toys.
full of live monkeys?
Who are all placidly sitting in exactly the same pose.
They all
smoking.
stay in the jar, in the drawer, smoking. They just lie there, keep smoking. They don't try and escape the drawer when he opens it.
They didn't try to get a new cigarette. So yeah, they're definitely toys.
Yeah,
Okay,
man, they're so toys.
We get a little bit of wackiness with a bit of Japanese dub
I was
joke.
about to say.
Yeah, that was a cute joke. I was like, I paused for half a second. I was like, ooh, is this just shit work? No, they're doing it on purpose. Of course, it's clever work.
Yeah.
It was nice. Wasn't particularly racy either. This early days stuff can be a little on the nose with the race card.
Yeah.
They were simpler times, blah, blah, blah.
If
No
they're making fun of anything, they're making
excuse.
fun of English dubs of
Yeah.
Asian films. So that's a different thing to making fun of the people.
Yeah.
If they're making fun of anything, it's the overly driven work ethic. Please don't tell the supervisor I have the flu.
Are you kidding? I've been working with a broken leg for the last 6 months.
A crushed pelvis.
Yeah, that dude should see a doctor. I did think the Apu and Sanjeev party was a little racy. It felt like, I mean, were they just shouting gibberish? They weren't doing any. There wasn't anything particularly accurate.
Yeah, but I also don't feel like there's anything drawing a line, other than the music they're playing, drawing a line to Indian culture. Because they're wearing party hats and have streamers,
Yep.
and they're just kind of slapping hands a bunch. I don't know what they're doing.
They were also
But,
going.
So are you.
To illustrate a point.
Nah, man. I mean, they were. I'm dropping it here, but I think that was gibberish masquerading as Indian-y sounding noises.
I don't actually disagree. I'm just taking the opposing position because someone has to.
Don't.
No.
Yeah, this Reddit article about this episode and Apu and Sanjay in this says they're roughly accurate. They're roughly speaking Urdu, but
They are?
but it's very badly pronounced.
Hey, that's
But
good
that's
enough.
still impressive.
That's
I
an
mean-
attempt.
When they were conspiring and go check her pocket or whatever, that is roughly Urdu, but the dancing and singing might not be good.
I'm still impressed with the,
Well,
Yeah.
it's like when we watched the Fugu episode and they actually got Japanese
They
actors in.
did, yeah, and they were speaking Japanese.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, race is a tricky thing with Simpsons.
Well, yeah, especially with a problem with a certain character that was in this episode. And I don't think we see a really good Apu in this, but I don't know.
I think his motivations become justified where he's like, Homer comes to him and says, oh, you need to drop the charges because it is just one bottle once. And Marge has no previous criminal convictions that we know of.
But he wants to put that bitch on ice.
It's true.
Great sentence, just coming from the little mild-mannered guy.
Yeah.
Maybe the company just has huge incentives for prosecuting shoplifters or something. It feels like he's doing it because it's part of his duty as a Quickie Mart employee and its parent company, what was it, Abrams Defense Dynamics or something like that.
I mean, there are problematic elements with Apu in this episode, but I think, his motivations and actions to prosecute Marge might not be necessarily drawing on stereotypes or anything, but they certainly don't make him look good either, because, it is one bottle of fucking bourbon. It's settle down, mate. You don't need to go to prison over this.
But I also think that speaks to the extreme nature of Springfield. She gets
that's
30
it.
days in prison for what must be a $10 bottle of bourbon.
Also symbolic, because the whole town wants to lock her up. Everyone's like, lock that bitch up, He's just the tip of the iceberg. And it is about the whole town overblowing and going mad with murder lust.
Yeah. Which, it just feels weird and just really plays into, how jumpy this episode is that it goes from extreme to extreme because, we're going extreme with the flu, and then all of a sudden, without any build-up, Marge is exhausted from dealing with her family with the
I actually
flu.
quite like that because it implies that without having to go through showing all the family members getting the flu and Marge getting exhausted, she just already looks frazzled. Everyone's barking orders from the living room.
That was a really great classic faces spinning bit as well.
Oh, yeah. We need to come up with a name for that. But
I'm sure there is. I don't know what it's... Yeah.
Spinning faces.
The spinning faces montage thing.
OJ, morphine, Lobo.
Yeah.
And referring to Sheriff Lobo, who gets a lot of mentions in The Simpsons for some reason.
Very strange. Must have been a big part of their childhood. I really like the shot of the faces filling up the aisles on the shelf. I thought that was a really good look.
Yeah. Plays into the insanity of it all. And Bart's request of Flintstone's chewable morphine.
Bart, that doesn't exist.
Actually, I just remembered I'd like to retract my previous statement about her just having the one thing in her pockets. I'm pretty sure she puts the basket down and then unloads all her pockets as well.
Yeah.
When she gets to the front of the line at Quickie Mart.
Oh, and you think she just didn't get it all out?
Yeah.
Wow.
Makes more sense. If it was the one thing in her pocket, then that's sus. But if it was many things,
Yeah, see, that's what I really don't like about Apu in this episode, that he just pins her to the wall the first chance he gets and calls 4 squad cars over it.
Yeah, well, wait till you're robbed, man. Let's see how you react.
Elliot's got a bit of subliminal advertising going on here. Up who pins her to the wall. You were saying before about Marge grinding up on the desk in the courthouse. I'm getting hot under the collar just listening to you, man.
I should write for Pornhub. How about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel any bumps?
Yeah, just a little bit. There's that bit where she's getting taken away at the courtroom and Homer's like, he's got the joke up front of, I'm going to miss you, and it's not just the sex, it's also the food preparation. But then he's got that bit where he's like, mostly I'll miss how you make me feel like the luckiest man in the world every day. And it's like, yeah. And then they kind of slap the cuffs on her and drag her away, and there's like kind of bell, the ding.
Yeah, that is how a bell sounds.
Yeah.
More of a dong.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
Ominous is dong. Cheerful is ding.
Soup's up is ding.
Yeah, and we got a bit of like conjugal heart in this episode as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how Conjugal Visit worked? They just have a bunch of fuck trailers?
Yes.
I didn't think it was a real thing. I don't think
It's a thing.
It's a thing? You're
It's a
allowed to
thing.
go around and fuck prisoners?
Minimum security prisons, but,
Wow.
they can, meet up with people.
In fuck trailers. I did see that in Arrested Development as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had fuck trailers.
Papa Bear needs some honey.
Yeah, my ears feel dirty. It's a thing I've seen in enough TV shows to assume it's real.
Well, we all know what the word conjugal means. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I've never heard that word in any context except for sexy prison visits.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and conjugating the verbs.
Yeah.
That's not sexy.
It's conjugate, not conjugal.
I'm sure there's a link. Verbs of the world, write in.
You're talking to verbs. This guy doesn't write to movie stars. He writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Do you know Mad Max?
Apparently, conjugal just adjective relating to marriage or the relationship between a married couple. Example: conjugal loyalty.
Dear Google, are conjugal visits really a thing? I mean, really? Are they? No, come on, really?
For real or really?
Conjugal.
You didn't write Dear Google.
The search engines know when you're being polite.
Googling on the index.
In America, it's state by state. It's not like
That means at least a yes somewhere.
yeah.
Like Springfield.
In Australia, conjugal visits are permitted in the Australian Capital Territory and
Really?
Victoria.
Wow.
Geez, only the states that have the politicians in them get their fuck trailers. What a surprise.
And the heart of this episode. So, do you guys feel the heart at the end there?
The meaty throbbing heart.
A little bit, but yeah, it's not going for it, which is a bit weird when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the crux of their story. They should be going for it. I did notice this time that because the Jimmy Carter statue says Malays forever, and then when they
put an
convert
Archie in
yeah,
there.
they change Malays to Marge. But they don't draw attention to it.
nice.
It's just there.
Yeah.
Also, Marge's prison number is 24601 from Les Miserables.
Of course, of course.
Yep.
They like to drop that where they can.
Yeah.
I think there was sort of a hearty moment where Philip, I stabbed my husband with a Phillips head screwdriver. That's exactly what she sounded like.
Exactly. It's like she's in this room with us.
She got
I'm
her
a little
second
scared.
chance at love. Well, that was kind of touching, like the leaving jail scene, and she's like, I hope you find love. I found love with a new man. Which cuts to Barney, and that was really sweet, except then Barney is a filthy liar who says his name is Homer and he works at the nuclear plant. So you're like, oh, this isn't gonna go well.
She's going to think men are scum within a week.
Let me sharpen up my screwdriver. She's adorable. She's charming.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess it's just a shame that these episodes didn't exist in their moments longer enough because, yeah, it would have been nice to see Marge and this woman, like, having a burgeoning friendship and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Odd Couple.
The poignancy. All the best parts of the early series is when they don't shy away from poignancy, when they're okay with having a heart.
Yeah.
This one feels like they sold out their emotions to have more jokes in. The jokes were great,
Yeah.
but it's all icing.
So ultimately, though, guys, did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Springfield is a more extreme version of itself, but all the characters make sense. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very nth degree episode.
It's like how Itchy and Scratchy is just like a psycho version of Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Simpsons is like the Simpsons version of The Simpsons, you know?
Yeah.
Quite.
Yes, indeed.
And how was the Itchy and Scratchy in this episode?
Quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
relevant to what was going on. It was all about, visiting the doctor's office during the epidemic.
Yeah.
And you pointed it out during the episode, Danny. Why is the surgery why does they have a specials board
a specials menu in the surgery. Ooh, what have you got today?
Yeah, no, most doctors' offices just have coupons. It's easier.
Cut out the coupon and we'll cut out your appendix.
Yeah.
Get a little punch card, your 10th visit's free.
Itchy and Scratchy, of course, works best because they don't need to stick heart in there. It is a shy away from the heart and just go straight for the yucks.
And tying a brick to your tonsils and throwing them out a window and watching Scratchy's internal tract just fucking fly, man.
It's a metaphor for the state of Springfield in the absence of their heart and other internal organs, which Marge, fuck this.
And in a
modern American medical system where someone has to go only when it's on special.
Powerful.
Rather than when they need the tonsillectomy.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, they'll still end up with their organs upside down and impaled on a cactus.
A scathing critique.
This is America.
Don't catch you slipping now.
Those cactus needles going straight through his eyes.
Yep.
Oh, a jibbly, jibbly, jibbly. Jibbly, jibbly, jibbly.
Just take a moment at home to think about that.
Great Googa Mooga.
So yeah, character integrity. Otherwise, though, I do think we get a great Marge in this episode, and especially when she does meet Phillips and she's at the prison. Knock knock.
Oh, she's adorable, isn't she?
Yeah,
Adorable.
she's getting prison food. Like, it's so nice not to have to cook.
Oh, that was another weird cutaway. There were so many cutaway gags in this episode. Yeah, Homer making dinner for her.
Yeah, the fish one. And Bartina seducing the prison warden who looked a lot like Commissioner Gordon. What's his name in Batman?
Fucking Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman. He did have a Gary Oldman vibe about him.
Yeah.
Years before Gary
Goldfish ever looked like that.
Years before Gary Oldman was cast in the role.
Yeah.
Or Gary Goldfish.
Isn't that Aquaman?
Gary.
There were a bunch more of those cutaways. Like, I quite liked the Bartina one.
Yeah. Playing on the old Bugs Bunny sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Clonk. Down I go.
But yeah, I wasn't a fan of the Homer cooking one. I just think it was just too far in the extreme direction. Like, he dropped a fucking still living fish on her plate and then was making an obscene amount of lobster.
It's called sushi, okay?
He was making like 6 lobsters for the 2 of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's going to eat 4 of them.
Oh, yeah, lobster tails.
There's not a lot of meat in lobsters. So.
I quite liked the Flanders' bit where young Todd/Rod is speaking in tongues.
Oh, I wish he were speaking in tongues.
Oh, God, I
pray
wish
for the
it were
day.
so. Oh, fuck. And poor little weak-looking Maud with the towel around her neck and the shivers.
Yeah.
She looks like the Lizard Queen.
No, there were so many like cute bits, but I think the integrity of the show as a whole is off. It's just it's not the individual character's problem.
Yeah, man.
There are just so many unnecessary cuts, like when Wiggum and Quimby are gossiping in the sauna, and then it just cuts straight to like Quimby doing a rally and spoiler alerting for Crying Game and spilling the beans about Marge. I don't know why this scene was there.
Yeah, I also never got the Crying Game bit because it's like when he recovers, he's like, I mean, man, is that a good movie? I was like, yeah. He's like, but if you've seen the movie, you know the first statement was right.
Yeah.
What's the point? Why is that Crying Game bit there?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the idea that Chief Wiggum tells Quimby something in confidence, and then he immediately blurts it out.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's a secret anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if they have a bit where he's talking about, if you re-elect me, I'll be tough on crime. Marge Simpson is a shoplifter, and we will send her away for 30 days.
Yeah.
Right. Good reason for it.
Because then that justifies why they're putting a heavy penalty on Marge for such a small infraction, and it has a point for why Quimby's going to make that announcement. I just made it better.
Yeah, and it'd tie into the whole like early seasons of Simpsons, like weird standoff moments between Quimby and Wiggum.
Yeah,
like which is like one of my most favorite dropped things from the series. Like, yeah. So yes or no? Would you watch this one again?
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? There's a lot of fun to be had. So we'll go watch it again. Might put it in a playlist. What playlist does this belong in?
Prisons.
Yeah, prison episodes. Put this in with like Cape Fear or various Sideshow Bob episodes actually.
Tough women roles. Put it in with like the Thelma and Louise stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psycho references.
Yeah. The town rising up against the Simpsons episodes.
Oh, sure. Pair this with the movie.
Town learning they missed the Simpsons episodes.
Yep.
Pair this with the movie.
Lionel Hutz.
Oh, yes. Fucking.
Yes. Hutz and McClure.
Yeah, there's only a couple of those where you get the fucking double Hartman whammy, and oh man, it gets you in the heart, man.
Pulling on the heartstrings, the Hartman strings, Heartman strings, man, heartstrings, man, Heartman. Fuck off. Damn it.
That's a good name for a playlist. I'm going to write that out word for word. BT, what would you change?
Give it more of a plot and get Marge to prison sooner. I think the idea I had 2 minutes ago of maybe Quimby's running for re-election, wants to be hard on crime, and that's why that whole thing, and it makes more sense then why they put, Marge, who was theoretically a first offender, in prison for 30 days for like $10 for petty theft.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it doesn't feel like there's a lot holding this together. It's just kind of moving from set piece to set piece. So a bit more of a plot, a bit more, of the town escalating to missing Marge. Yeah, stuff like that. Maybe put in a bit more Spider-Verse.
I wonder what you're going to be recommending later. Danny, what would you like to change?
Let me give you my answer in song.
Okay. A 1 and a 2 and
atonally. This is one of those like spoken word songs.
Yep.
This will sound better with the music.
We'll dub in bass later.
Yeah. I don't like that they had such a great open. The McClure stuff was really good. The ad was funny. Then the cold was everywhere. And then Shump, it was dropped. It was used to get her into the thing. I want the reason she goes to jail is that everyone's got the flu, and like the judge has got the flu, and the jury has the flu, and they're all like, oh,
grumpy and tired.
Let's just convict her already. And so like the flu kind of ties him into why she actually goes to jail for this thing. She's got the flu, so she didn't even notice that she had the thing. Like we can kind of keep that thread going through. Apu's really upset because he needed the medicine or whatever that she should have stolen medicine. She should have stolen like accidentally a bottle of cough syrup or something,
Not brownest of the brown liquors.
Not the brownest of the brown liquor. I mean, that line was worth it. But didn't feel right for her to be I know Grandpa asked for bourbon, and then so she went out and bought bourbon.
Yeah, he's not allowed liquids after 3 p.m.
So yeah, I think that could have really carried through, and then been a thread where like the whole town is dying of the flu, not dying, but the whole town is dead with the flu, and that's why everything starts falling to shit, because no one can take care of themselves. They need someone who knows how to clean up this place,
full alternate cut. So everyone has the flu. Marge goes to prison. Everyone dies of the flu. Marge leaves prison.
Whoa, pull back.
And then the prisoners like the only people left, so Marge has to be, still trying to be good in this lawless society.
Jesus, dial it down, man. Dial it down. This is like, isn't this the cut that I usually suggest? But everyone's helpless and bedridden with the flu, so the town falls to shit. And she hasn't got the flu, and she knows how to heal people. And everyone's like, oh, if only there was someone that knew how to be a good nurse.
Turns out the cure is bed rest and forehead kisses, and no one else can provide that.
Yes. Except for an army of female inmates that bust out with her. And so there's all these big, tough, muscly, tattooed ladies, like, tenderly kissing Springfield guests on the... I'm losing it. But no, look, I think I started strong there. I really do think we could have tied that flu thing in better and had a better reason for her ending up in the hospital, prison. And maybe a better motivation for people to want her back as well. I really want to kind of bring out the heart and the plot, just like Beej was saying, but with less post-apocalyptic nonsense. More Spider-Verse.
Yeah, look, what I'd like to change. I think it's unfortunate we don't get to spend more time with Marge in prison. Like I said, I like the relationship she has with Phillips. And I don't think cutting between the Simpsons family having a post-apocalyptic adventure in their home, I think it does wear out its welcome. Yeah. I think these scenes, they can be funny, but they're largely unnecessary, and that's like a lot of my problem with this episode. There are just a lot of unnecessary scenes. Yeah. The amount of cutaway jokes as well, like, has only just occurred to me as like
so many, man.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not like Family Guy were the only show to do cutaway jokes. Like, Simpsons were doing plenty of them. It's just, there was a bit more purpose and reason to them, and this one didn't feel like it had a lot of that purpose and reason. And guest stars of the episode. So yeah, the aforementioned Phil Hartman and also the aforementioned David Crosby.
Beautiful men, both of them.
Yeah.
I love you, brother.
I love you too, brother. And he's like looking at his own records, like when he gets that call.
Yeah. Just in case you don't know who he is.
Yeah.
He's a musician.
Were there any musical moments in this episode that stood out to you guys?
Oh, everyone's got the flu.
That's what the start of this episode is. Start out with an overture.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yes.
BT, do you have any other notes?
Of course. You can also get Sun and Run, the sunscreen that's also a laxative.
Yeah.
Homer's motivation for getting a juice loosener is he stops getting chest pains from answering the phone.
Yeah. Good way to lose weight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's a nice little Zapruder film reference with the puff of blue hair coming up from behind the grassy knoll.
So, wait, Professor Frink is like trying to imply that Marge like off JFK there?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
Marge.
You come out with your hands up, 2 cups of coffee, an air freshener that says Capricorn, and something with coconut on it.
Something with coconut on it.
Yep.
That's some gold Wiggum
And
stuff.
Tattoo Annie in general with her Mad Max folding.
Yeah, she was
Oh,
great.
my God.
Yep, super good. This verdict is written on a cocktail napkin. And it still says guilty.
It still
and
says
guilty
guilty.
is spelled wrong.
Eep.
That's a great moment. Finally, a big quote in my house between me and my sister mostly was, "I'm taking this thing to Mexico."
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's another playlist as well, like the Quickie Mart in Peril, like that episode we watched the other week where the whole thing was just filled with squishy.
Or when it gets blown up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, good times. How about you, Danny? Any other notes?
I think we've covered the big beats. I'm taking this thing to Mexico. I've said that my whole life. Starving them, teasing them, singing to off key. Mamie, my mom, mummy. I've said that my whole life.
And a PSA out there, please don't sing to your dogs off key. It really riles them up.
Or starve them.
But more importantly, the singing off key.
That scene also didn't really feel like it needed to be there. They kind of like crammed that in.
Mm-hmm.
But you could say that about most of it. Nah, you know what? I'm good. I've done my time.
So to speak.
Oh, Springfield's Women Prison. Subtitle, A Prison for Women.
Yeah, in nice cursive font.
There we go. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, now it's time for my final notes.
Now it's time for his final notes. Elliot's final notes. I got the song wrong.
Yeah, but it sounded like you were going through an artificial pitch shifter then. You were...
Is it interesting?
Elliot's final note.
We'll do a vocal chop afterwards. We'll rework it.
Yeah.
There's our sample.
Well.
Bart's internal virus is snake.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is that what viruses look like, by the way? Like a big red lump?
That is actually 100% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they talk as well.
All right, let's make some pus.
Yeah.
That was really good.
He
And
does
say,
it.
I'm taking this thing to Mexico.
I'm taking this thing to Mexico.
Now
It's
say,
like snakes in the room with us.
bye.
There are motherfucking snakes in this room with us.
Bye.
Nice. Nice.
Bye.
Oh, so good.
Thank you. The Latin on Quimby's shield is Corruptus in Extremis.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's the eagle is holding a martini glass and a wad of bills.
Oh, I missed that. Mr. Burns' elaborate door gag. Now, this is funny, but it also feels like it's a combination of 2 jokes they've done previously.
Yep.
Like in Last Exit to Springfield, where Mr. Burns and Smithers are taking over the plant because the workers are on strike.
Yep.
And they go through all those elaborate doors, and then the room just has a creaky fly screen door, and a dog's already in there.
The get smart moment,
Yeah. So it feels like it's doing that. And also, hello, my name is Mr. Burns. I believe you have a letter for me. So anyway, I liked the joke, but it also felt like, they were repeating themselves. Take that. We get another Married with Children reference.
Yeah. Strange.
Watch Fox to me down for all eternity.
That's the slogan. But yeah, it's interesting, that we see a little bit of a side to Ned that's like, oh, that was a bit naughty.
Laughing at the penis joke.
Yeah.
Titter, titter, titter.
Which is what the Married with Children audience used to sound like.
Oh, titter, titter, titter.
Yeah.
I believe that was sexual.
Filmed in front of a Twee studio audience.
The one line I really don't like from Lionel Hutz, the whole thing, oh, we got Judge Snyder. I kind of ran over his dog, and by kind of I mean repeatedly, and by dog I mean his son.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that's funny, and then you think about it, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bit much for him. Usually he's not quite that violent. Also, he probably can't afford a car.
Well, it also sounds very premeditated as well,
Yeah.
which doesn't seem to be Lionel Hutz's style. That guy seems to be flying off the seat of his pants.
Unless by repeatedly he means several accidental times.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd maybe not premeditate. Maybe it's just, I ran over Judge Snyder's son. I'm going to do it again. Reverse, forward, reverse, forward. It only becomes less horrifying if it's several different incidences and he just randomly keeps hitting his son.
What was that noise? I better go back and check. Oh, wait,
There it
now
was
it's in front of
again.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, so for an implied spoken bit, yeah, it never rang
Pretty dark
well with me.
Pretty dark.
When they're bitching about Marge, this is a weird poker game. It's the Lovejoys, Dr. Hibbert, and Miss Hoover.
Yeah.
What a combo.
Hoover. Yeah.
Well,
she's out of place there.
They're all swingers, so.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, what? What?
The sound of a truth bomb going off.
Wow, that is a very different... Wait, Lovejoys?
Oh, yeah, man.
They've got a very kinky side to them that only comes out occasionally.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's a scene.
It's a scene. It's a scene.
It's the scene.
Yeah.
It's the lifestyle. Yeah, and so Miss Hoover's bitching that she had a hair in her gingerbread cookies.
Know what I'm saying?
And is that a metaphor for something?
Everything is, you know what I'm saying?
Well, what about webbed toes? Is that
Oh,
a
you
metaphor?
know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Marge has got webbing between her toes.
Wait, doesn't everybody have webbing between their toes?
Yeah, but I guess the implication is that like hers like goes all the way up to the top of the toe.
Yeah, like Aquaman style.
So yeah, weird incontinuity introduced in this episode. So this is actually a weird coincidence tying back to the last episode we reviewed. So Lisa compared Lionel Hutz to a modern day Clarence Darrow. All right, I'm just going to read this out. He defended many high-profile clients in many famous trials of the early 20th century, including teenage thrill kills Leopold and Loeb for murdering 14-year-old Robert Bobby Franks and teacher John T. Scopes in the Scopes monkey trial, which was referenced in the monkey suit before. Yeah.
Well, there we go.
And could you imagine a world without lawyers?
I'm imagining it right now.
That was a badly colored rainbow in his vision as well.
Yeah, that was not Roy G. Biv.
Oh, is that how it's pronounced?
Roy G. Biv, yeah.
And I really like the moment where Nelson's like laughing at Bart. Ha, your mum's in prison. So's yours. Huh. Let's go play.
Yeah, and his lunch of peanut butter smeared on a playing card and a packet of sugar.
Can I jump back like 12 questions? That shot there is my heart for the episode.
Yeah?
That's so sweet, you know? Yeah. Like, I mean, yes, there's this teasing second. He comes in and on autopilot, he's teasing, and then instantly they bond and they're like, oh, let's go off and play. That's so sweet, you know? Yeah.
Well, it's probably, you know, Nelson's always like, people don't get me, you know, my mum's in prison. Someone gets me.
Let's go play. And then they do.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
And Homer wearing the costumes instead of washing his clothes.
Yeah. I think the wedding dress was fine. That was a fine bit. Felt strange to kind of cut to him later and he's in the devil suit.
Well, yeah, and apparently he changed back into his clothes for the conjugal visit.
For the conjugal visit.
Assuming on that same day. And my final note is when they're all cheering and applauding Marge at the end, their mouths are just moving uncontrollably. It's really weird.
They've gone mad with the plague.
How do you cheer?
With your mouth moving controllably?
Just like one open, hey, not some clapping, you know.
Rhubarb.
You know, when you're clapping, you're like, woo! You know, it's big, long sounds, not just going, Well,
maybe we should change that.
Let's get it started.
The crowd goes wild.
Good fun. It is time to rank
Sounds like
this.
Mars Attacks.
It is time to rank this thing. Danny.
I am really torn with this one. I feel like it's not a good episode. It's messy and poor heart, almost no plot really, and it just jumps through scenes that it uses as vehicles for humor. But the humor was great, and so much of it has remained quotable 30 years later. Silver?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
Bronze seems a little rough because it was funny. Maybe Silver's the one that I never feel confident saying. Like I should either like something enough to say gold or dislike it enough to say bronze.
You follow the guts, man.
Silver.
All right. I'm going a silver as well.
What?
I think it's a testament to this episode that despite my very many criticisms and your very many criticisms of the plot and the pacing and the story, that there are still so many funny moments to be had in this episode. And Lionel Hutz is just a powerhouse. BT, what do you reckon?
Yep, unanimous silver. It's got some good moments, but it's just the plot is just strung along, very weakly connected. And this could have been a bronze if they'd betrayed character a bit more, but I think the character's fine. The integrity of the show is fine. It's just not quite as good, and it's just it doesn't have that momentum of the great episodes.
Yeah. All right. Well, averaging out, this will be a unanimous silver.
We haven't got a witty word for that yet.
Silver!
Ilvar!
Hi-ho, Silver here.
Giving it the silver tongue.
You brought it on yourself.
And this will be joining other such unanimous silvers as When Flanders Failed, huh?
I'm surprised there's others.
Yeah.
Silver seems like something we'd never unanimously give.
Well, that's the funny thing about silver, because it's like one of the categories that has the most like divisive rankings. Like there's a lot of unanimous. Animus? What's the opposite of unanimous?
We are going with animus.
But some of the unanimous ones were Pygmalion, when Mo gets plastic surgery, When Flanders Failed, when we first see the Leftorium.
Yep.
Treehouse of Horror 7, which a lot of people have argued with me with, but that's the one with Hugo, the Genesis tub, and Citizen Kang.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Citizen Kang is phenomenal. The others are okay.
Yeah. So, it's about time we got out of here, guys. But before we get out of here, we'd just like to briefly recommend things that we've been into lately. Books, movies, podcasts, music, TV shows, video games. Starting with you, BT, what would you like to recommend?
Okay, quick update. So everyone knows I've been playing a lot of Hollow Knight. I have now reached the final boss, and it was amazing. So this is entering my favorite games of all time. It's amazing. Check it out.
Wow. I think that's the big update in Hollow Knight Watch, is that now it's up in your big games of all time.
Oh, yeah, it's so good. And also, I'd like to recommend a quick little movie on Netflix called Wormwood. It's an Australian zombie film that's actually good. It is stupid as fuck, but it's amazing. Big appeal is that zombies now breathe some kind of fume that people can use for fuel. So they're like Mad Maxing with zombies. It's ridiculous and it's great.
Wow, that sounds fascinating.
Yeah, check it out.
Is that a recent one, or?
It's a couple of years old.
How about you, Danny? What have you been into?
I don't think I've got anything like life or death, crash hot new kind of brag that no one else has heard of. I've been playing heaps of Smash and loving it. RDR2, gorgeous.
Oh, you've been playing that as well?
Yeah, it's just very serene and calming in a way.
For a gun shooty game.
Yeah, for a gun shooty game.
It does fucking slow you down. Anyway.
It's beautiful as well. Just the sunsets and the mist and the forests and shit. The shit. I've been watching Arrested Development. I think everyone that listens to it's probably already seen it. It's amazing. It's sort of like doubling down on script writers being lame for the sake of lame. Like, how much shit puns can we just like lean into? And I enjoy that because I am also not funny. I've been doing Adventure Time again, Gravity Falls again. I've been doing Steven Universe. No, you already did the Steven Universe talk, didn't you? On the other episode.
Oh, I have gushed.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's phenomenal. If you didn't listen to him the first time, you're like, what does Elliot know? He's just a film critic. It is phenomenal. It's probably one of the greatest cartoon series you're going to see. Oh, I borrowed this thing off Beat. I can't remember what it's called, but it's really good.
Wickeder Than Vine, I've plugged it before.
Yeah, it's charm. Oh, you did? Well, it really reminds me of The Sandman, which is also great.
Yep.
Sweet. Lots of good stuff for our audience to get into over this holiday period. And yeah, I'm actually surprised. I thought with all your mentions of Spider-Man that you were going to mention Spider-Man.
I wanted to plug Wormwood.
Yeah. Oh, no, fair enough.
And I figured you would have the space for Spider-Verse.
Well, I'm going to recommend it, of course, but like I don't feel like it's a unique stance or anything like that. Like everyone's recommending Spider-Verse at the moment.
That's it.
There's good reason for it. It's fucking amazing. You don't need to hear my opinion, really. There's enough think pieces out there. But yeah, totally revolutionizing comic book movies. But what I'm actually going to recommend is Ronnie Chang, International Student. It's this cute little 7-episode comedy on Netflix. Yeah, it's about Ronnie Chen. He's an amazing Australian comedian, and it's a show about him being an international student in a uni, and it's fun and wacky and absurd and full of a lot of good Australian humour in it. So, yeah, I liked it. All right, guys, it is time to get the fudge out of here. That's been BT Calloway.
Ahoy.
And that's been Danny Rosewell.
I'm Danny Rosewell.
Oh, that's so cool. And I'm your host, Elliot Jay O'Neill. That's all the mustard in the house! Thank you. I'm always waiting for people to applaud me.
Thank you for listening to the Simpsons Index podcast, which is also an online spreadsheet available at thesimpsonsindex.com. You can chat to us online at facebook.com/thesimpsonsindex or at Simpsons Index on Twitter and Instagram. And now please stay tuned for the bonus scenes!
How about a little bit do?
Choo-choo-choo.
My pants just do something?
You dropped your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, who needs phones when we've got the internet?
It's like you pooped your phone out of your pocket.
Oh, that's graphic. Dr. Beach, is it time to crack open each other's skulls and feast on the goo within?
Only if we have sriracha. Do we have sriracha? I'm not eating your brains without sriracha.
Your house, what's in your pantry? I guess it should really be in the fridge.
Yes, it is. It's the mayo kind. It's good.
Ooh.
And we're back with the fresh hip-hop flavor. I'm your host, and you know you want to save my flow and my rhymes because they are the dopest. You want to marry me? Let's get a lopest.
Oh, none of those rhymes went anywhere near where I thought he was going.
You know when you start and you're like, oh, wait, I can't freestyle.
The trick is never start.
Or never stop, because you can't, and you won't, and you don't.
Addicted to the shindig? What?
You know Chop Stop says I'm going to win big? All right, podcasting in the AM. Feels weird.
Hello, and welcome to Mornings on the Index.
Yeah, it's got to be like AM radio.
Yeah.
And that was the classic hit, Smooth by Carlos Santana, featuring Rob Thomas.
Yep.
Not many people know this, but when this was produced in the studio, it was the same time as in a different room at the same studio, Vivian Schneider was recording the third movement to the quintet's bullshit.
You were doing so well.
Thank you.
So well.
I froze.
Yeah, Carter's still alive. History's greatest monster.
Oh, man, that's changed.
Well, history just keeps going.
Yeah, it is a choose-your-own-adventure about a guy who's developing a choose-your-own-adventure game for the Commodore that's, wait for it, based on a choose-your-own-adventure book.
Get out of town.
And then later on in the story, he becomes paranoid that someone from the future is controlling his actions.
Oh, it's so meta.
Is it lonely up your own ass? Black Mirror.
Yeah, without giving too much away, one of the choices you're given in the movie is Netflix.
Yeah.
And chill or just...
Yeah. I think we all go through that stage as a writer of being like, wow, I'm so fucking clever. I am just the fucking cleverest thing in the world.
Man, it's the problem with Black Mirror sometimes.
Yeah. God, can't you just step back and look at yourself and be like, this is garbage. This is indulgent.
You can't when you're up your own ass. It's very hard to step backwards.
No, I reckon Black Mirror... It just synced into my brain what you just said then.
It's very visual. Ha! Ha!
Good Fran Drescher. Or was that Joan Rivers?
It was Joan Rivers. I don't think I have to have ovum to say that was a little on the... Oh, shit, there's a pun here, isn't there?
Hang on.
Yeah. We'll move on.
Yes.
Write in, leave a like and subscribe. I mean, a witty repartee, and we'll insert this later.
Yeah, like and subscribe is how we say goodbye. So
like and subscribe.
Midway through the episode.
Like, yeah, when I was saying goodbye to my mom the other day, Merry Christmas, like and subscribe. So, oh, you too, like and subscribe.
Yeah,
hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, good impression of my mom.
It was tough to say like and subscribe to my grandfather on his deathbed, but I'm glad I made it.
Oh, man, you guys are so fellow kids. You're so in touch with the zeitgeist. Fuck.
And don't forget to hit that subscription bell so you get notified of new content.
Oh, that's a keeper.
Oh, yeah, so...
Till death.
It's sort
part.
of... Well,
To like and subscribe to your pass.
Bart Summer
Barge.
Montage. Yeah, I know. Barge.
Marge and Marge and Homer.
Marge.
Eat pant. How about you, BT? Wait, I haven't set it up. All right, so BT, what about... I'm not good at hosting anymore, apparently.
Wizard did it.
Yeah, I got Pi down to like 100 places now.
Ready?
Yep.
Oh, okay. 3.1618325777777Q.
Batman symbol.
Yeah.
Prove him wrong, folks. Prove him wrong. I was just thinking, sorry, while you were talking, I wasn't listening. I was thinking because I'm a fucking asshole. I'm sorry. I am sorry. No, I was listening. But I was sitting there thinking, Elliot said, you can probably trim like a couple of seconds out of this bit.
I always do.
Funny hat propeller guy.
Steve Buscemi from Happy Gilmore?
You're thinking Mr. Deeds.
No,
Happy
I'm
Gilmore.
not. What's the one where Steve Buscemi's the sniper in the end? He's a post officer?
I don't know what animal films have you been watching.
No,
Little
it's
Daddy?
when he goes back to school.
Yeah. Look, all Adam Sandler movies are garbage. Prove me wrong, children, prove me wrong. They are all garbage. Wedding Singer included.
Oh,
I
wow.
hate wedding.
Garbage.
What about
Garbage.
what's that one where he's dying and then he's not?
Oh.
You know, the one where he has cancer. and
Stand-up
he-
comic.
and he's,
Funny
he's playing
People.
himself. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
consider that a Sandler movie. I consider that a Judd Apatow movie.
Well,
doesn't
just-
count, but I know what you're saying.
Just a counter argument. Elliot's point.
Dang, he got me.
Sorry for audience at home. I'm making the jerk off motion.
But yeah, like audience at home will know my deep hatred for Adam Sandler movies, and like Funny People, like in retrospect, becomes that much worse because Adam Sandler's like playing an Adam Sandler type who
Yeah.
makes a bunch of shitty Adam Sandler movies, and the movie comments on how shitty these shitty movies
We
are.
all thought that would be the end.
You can't suddenly like get out of jail free like that.
What about 51st Dates? That's not a bad movie.
That's fucking crap.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's a
I haven't-
rip off
I
of
haven't seen it
Groundhog Day.
forever, so-
But yeah, so
It's creepy rapey when you think about it, bro.
Everything's creepy rape when you think
Dude,
about it.
girl that can't remember yesterday and you keep like manipulating her to fall in love with you. It's like Groundhog Day is
No, I
creepy
get it.
rapey.
yeah.
Groundhog Day mostly, but then Andy McDowell also gets creeped out by him when he gets creepy rapey. At least in 51st, he does always try and woo her.
Yeah, they still play him as the good guy.
Yeah, that's true. And I haven't seen it in cinemas, so I couldn't tell you. But
So you think Funny People was going to be the turning point for Adam Sandler, where he'd stop making shitty Adam Sandler movies, and then fucking Jack and Jill is the next movie.
yeah, yeah. And then I haven't seen Punch Drunk Love.
Oh, that is actually really good.
Oh, yeah.
All right, fuck Adam Sandler. Spend way too much time talking about him. Danny, do you have any other notes?
I'm sorry, he has a really interesting career path. Anyway,
I'll try it again. Lils working at me. I'm Danny Rosewell.